Hey, Miles.
Hey, good afternoon, Brett.
Drink it.
Hi.
Bushel. Number 2 beer. Anyway, as interviewed, the guy finally said, "Hey, I want to compliment you. Nice wool t-shirts you got on." He is a Harris man. National television.
I got all my vaccinations already.
Hey, congratulations, dude. We're
Thanks.
notified. I'll see you after meeting. Yeah, we need to get.
You ready to read?
Nah, I take him.
Nah, I get him for the lick.
I mean, that's not what you
No biggie, but I think.
All right, people, it's 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get this meeting of the Board of Carter County Commissioners. We'll call it to order.
He does, sir.
Is that the other prophet?
Madam Clerk, if you'll call the roll, please.
All right.
Willie Campbell,
You up here, cousin?
Mark Blevins,
Here.
Robert Acuff,
Here.
Nancy Brown,
Here.
Mike Hill,
Here.
Julie Gwynn,
Here.
Bradley Johnson,
Here.
Mark Tester,
Here.
Charles Von Cannon,
Present.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Here.
Jerry Prophet,
Here.
Austin James,
Here.
Ross Garland,
Here.
Layla Ward,
Present.
Ginger Holdren, Randall Jenkins,
Here.
Jerry Bailey,
Here.
Travis Hill,
Present.
Roger Color, Daniel McIntyre,
Here.
Aaron Frazier,
Here.
Robin McCamey. Robin McCamey,
Present.
Kelly Collins,
Here.
Thomas Prophet,
Here.
Ginger Holdren,
Here.
Sandra. Form present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda, and I need to amend the agenda right off the bat. I want to put Sheriff Lunsford in. He's asked to address the commission. We'll put him right after approval of notaries and bonds at number 8. The mayor is at a function right now to throw out the first pitch, so she's going to be running a few minutes late. So we're going to make this kind of fluid with her. So we'll just kind of work her in. She comes in. We've got both families on here waiting for the proclamations in honor of their families. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve Mark Blevins, first district.
Motion by
Second,
Mr.
Aaron
Blevins.
Frazier, 7.
Second by Mr. Frazier. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Billy Campbell,
Aye.
Mark Blevins,
Aye.
Robert Acuff,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill. Mike Hill. Julie-
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Yes, ma'am.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Gary Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
Yes.
Layla Ward. Layla Ward,
Yes.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes. Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yes.
Travis Hill,
Yes.
Sandra Color, Daniel McIntyre,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
Yes.
Thomas Prophet,
Yes.
21 ayes. 23.
Okay, next item on the agenda is opening prayer by
I mean,
Commissioner
please,
Willie
please.
Campbell, and then we'll be led into Pledge of Allegiance by Dr. Acuff. Commissioner Campbell.
Heavenly Father, God, Lord, as we bow our heads and approach your throne of grace, God, today, thanking you, Lord, that you let us put our feet to the floor and take another breath, Lord, by your grace. Lord, tonight we do pray, Lord, for each and every one that's attending this meeting and listening. Lord, that your blessings be upon them and their families. And God, we do pray, Lord, for the COVID-19, Lord, the people that are in the hospitals, the nursing homes, Lord, wherever they may be tonight, Lord, that you touch them. And Lord, we pray for those, Lord, who are on the front lines of this COVID, Lord, that you touch them. Lord, all the responders and each one. Lord, we know that we're going through a tough time, but your word says, if my people which are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek your face and turn from their wicked ways, Lord, then when I hear from heaven, then when I heal their land. Lord, oh, how we need that tonight, Lord. We know, Lord, that there's a lot of broken hearts out there tonight. But Lord, we know that you're the one that can mend these broken hearts for each and every one of us, God. If we'll just call upon your name, Lord, we know that you're sitting on the right hand of the Father tonight, making intercession for us. Lord, we pray tonight, Lord, as we go into this meeting, Lord, that you bless each and every one. Lord, we pray that you have your will and way, Lord, in our lives. Lord, we pray, Lord, that you forgive us where we fail thee and strengthen us, God, in the areas that we fail in. Lord, we ask these things in thy name. Amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute, and pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of
of
America
America,
and to the
the
republic
republic,
which stands one nation,
One nation,
under
under
God,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and justice
for all.
for all.
Play ball.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is acceptance of meeting minutes from February the 15th and the special call meeting on February the 23rd.
Mr. Chair, Isaiah Grindstaff, I'll make a motion to accept.
Motion by Mr. Grindstaff,
Second.
second by Ms. Brown. Any corrections, additions, deletions? I only saw one change will be on page 205 of the February 23rd meeting. And it actually says there's actually 5 votes, but it's tallied as 4 no votes. So if those could be changed to reflect 5 no votes, please. And if there's no more, then Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell,
Aye.
Mark Blevins,
Aye.
Robert A. Cup,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Randy Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Gary Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
I'll abstain, please.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yes.
Travis Hill,
Yes.
Sandra Culler, Daniel McInturf,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
Yes.
Thomas Prophet.
Yes.
Ross, you want to change your vote?
No, ma'am, I was absent. I just abstained from the meeting minutes.
22 ayes.
Motion passed. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of notaries and bonds. Madam Clerk.
Laura Nelson, Christina D. Cruz, Jeremy Dogger, Barbara S. Bearfield, Terry Buckles, Jamie M. McGee, Brenda Chambers, Mona Simley, Kim Hughes, Mary A. Mullins, and not on your list is McKendra L. Norris.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Garland,
Second.
second by Mr. Blevins. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell,
Aye.
Mark Blevins,
Aye.
Robert A. Cup,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Jerry Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yes.
Travis Hill,
Yes.
Sandra Culler, Daniel McInturf,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
Yes.
Thomas Prophet,
Yes.
23 ayes.
Motion passed. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, we will recognize Sheriff Dexter Lunsford. Sheriff, you are recognized.
If y'all remember the creating one entrance into this building, we've had a conversation several times over the past couple of years about this, about having to hire one full-time, one part-time to man that station down there. About 3 weeks ago, it was the first meeting I was asked to attend in a long time about this. And was advised it's somewhat ready. But before I can man it again, I've got to have the funding. We're talking about $50,000 a year. And that's not in the budget, my current budget. So, y'all can take action or whatever you want to do, but I don't have the manpower to fund it without it.
I'd just like to also add, this did not come through budget.
What are we talking about again, Sheriff? I missed maybe the first part of what you said, or what do you need, man?
For 2 years, you all have been talking about and appropriating funds to take this building and create one public entrance.
Okay.
And that public entrance has to be manned by someone the whole time the building's open. To do that, it will take an additional bailiff, full-time, and a part-time. open on Sunday mornings and for breaks. So talking about $50,000 a year, it's not in my current budget.
I think this needs to go through the correct committees before it hits the floor to be voted on.
It does have to, it needs to go to the budget committee.
The budget committee had not met since I had this conversation. That's why I'm here.
How soon are they looking to man
I have
that, Sheriff?
no idea because I've not been included in the conversation.
Director Burke.
Sir?
The sheriff says, of course, you know, this money's not in his budget. What are we looking like? Because I think we're roughly anywhere between 10 to 15 deputies shy. So what kind of money is left over in the deputies line item then?
All I can do at this point is,
I'm not hiring somebody. I'm not hiring somebody to put in that position, in a jailer's position. And it not get funded.
I haven't done any forecast as far as the rest of the year goes.
What was the question?
I don't know, I didn't hear it.
What was the
How much
question?
money do we have left over in the deputy line item currently? Because we're only, what'd you say, 3.5 years at the point in time? Or 3.5 months left, I'm sorry.
The regular salary deputy line item there is $191,908.
All right, I thought we should have more than that left over because I thought we was short quite a few deputies.
Well, there's per month, that'll be, or for every 2 weeks, it's around 18,500. And we have one more payroll in March, 2 April, May, and June, and then one accrual, which is 8 payrolls.
And I've hired 10, by the way, within the last 2 weeks. So I'm not going to take those monies and hire a bailiff out of that line item with existing funds.
I've got a question, Sharon,
Yes, sir.
or Sheriff. Is it open? I mean, are we at one point entry? I mean, for the place right now, is that how people
Again,
are
I was
coming in?
invited to a meeting by the mayor about 3 weeks ago. That's the first meeting I've been invited to. Not gonna say it was intentional. I think it was just an oversight, but while this whole thing was going on, and I don't know where they're at on it.
Mayor Woodby.
Not on here yet.
I'm on, I'm here.
She's here.
There you go.
I just got here.
Mayor invited me to a meeting about 3 weeks ago, and that's the first one I've been invited to, so.
Yeah, the courthouse security project is coming to an end. I was going to update you guys on in my mayoral report tonight. They just have a couple of more small pieces of equipment to install, but that is wrapping up. We're just to the point of installing the metal detector, which is basically plugging it into the wall, staffing it, and then we do have to have the x-ray machine installed, and it does entail having to have training. And that also has to be set up by the sheriff's department, and they have to handle all that before that can be installed. The company must come here, do the training. I'm not sure what all the technicalities are with that, but that does fall with the sheriff's department on that end. But as far as the point of entry, it is basically going to be, it's ready to go. We just need the metal detector, the x-ray machine, and the bailiffs.
Ms. Woodby,
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh, go ahead.
when are you looking to try to open this? As soon as possible?
We have a meeting with the contractor on Wednesday, and I think we'll do the punch list then. That means they will be closing out the project. So after Wednesday, I think we will be finished with our contractor. So it will be ready to go.
Well, I think we need to give the sheriff the money for his people. He can't do it if he ain't got the money.
Because I was sure during this whole project that when the time comes, that would be funded.
Sheriff Lunsford, how many bailiffs, what are we going to take to operate it?
It'll take 1.5 additional.
Okay.
And again, no, I'm not saying it was intentional, and I appreciate the mayor inviting me to that meeting 3 weeks ago, but it would have been nice if a year ago I'd been invited to the meetings and we could have planned this going forward, but had no idea when this was going to happen, and now we're behind the 8 ball already because those officers are going to have to be trained. I guess what I can do is move one of the ones that's serving now that's got the training and move the new guy over there, so he'll be with others, but we can get it taken care of. But again, I can't hire people if I don't have, and I don't want to hire them out of the corrections position because I'm in the process of hiring those every day. I interviewed 5 today. And if I hire a bailiff in those positions, then I'm gonna be short. I can't fill those spots in the jail, which I'm having a hard time doing anyway. Had 5 quit last week. But,
Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Bailey.
is there a way, since we're already in March, April, May, June, we're at the end and getting ready to go into the budget cycle for July anyway, that we can send this to budget, let them talk about this and see, because even if the mayor gets this done, we're talking the end of the month. And that way we can go through the budget process. We can look at the money and where it comes from. That way they can add this into next year's budget and get some.
if y'all want to wait, we can wait to creating the open and using it until the 1st of July. But we all don't know within, but 1st of July, we don't really have approval the 1st of July. It's sometime usually in August, September before we're approved for next year's budget. So there would be, August, September before the budget's approved, August anyway, right?
Well, we spent all this money, excuse me, Travis, I didn't ask for the floor.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
But we spent all this money on this upgrade of getting it fixed and everything, so I'm gonna make a motion that we give the sheriff his money.
Before we can do that, we've got to suspend the rules so we can actually proceed forward with
And
it.
we're only gonna need 3 months worth.
Yeah, I figured like 16,000. Is that right?
Yep. And then July the 1st, I'll put it in the new budget. Because again, I'm sitting here thinking, if the budget gets done on time, when will the budget for next year be done? What month?
It'll be set.
July.
When?
It's supposed to be set in July, but last year carried through to like August the 18th on the deadline.
So I think 4 months might be more.
That was what I figured out.
You
Was,
figured 4 months.
yeah, I'd done for 16,666.
Okay.
So I'd prefer to round that up or down.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we suspend the rules regarding this having to come through budget, and so we can go ahead and vote on it this evening.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Frazier, second by Mr. Campbell to suspend the rules to not send this through budget and vote on tonight. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. And I'd like to clarify, if we wait for the next budget round, everything may be finished and we may not have the personnel already in place and trained for it. If it could have hit budget last week, we could have probably got it done as well, but this is a pre-existing condition that's been going along with the courthouse security project, and the fact that we weren't even sure if we were going to be able to get the metal detectors as of probably 2 weeks ago either. So
We have the metal detector in, and I have 2 wands. They are here and ready to go.
awesome.
I believe this takes 2/3 majority. Is that correct? Does anybody know that right off?
Yeah.
All right. So if there's no other discussion, Madam Clerk, call the roll for a motion to
Campbell.
suspend the rules.
Willie Campbell,
Yes.
Mark Blevins,
Yes.
Robert A. Cup,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Gary Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Sure.
Ross Garland,
Yes.
Layla Ward, Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yeah.
Travis Hill,
Yes.
Sandra Culler, Daniel McInturf,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
Yes.
Thomas Prophet,
Yes.
23 ayes.
Motion passed. Now, Mr. Blevins, you want to put your motion on the floor?
Yes, my motion on the floor is the way Mr. Frazier figured this.
would be 16,000, so it just rounded off to 17,000 for the sheriff.
Sheriff? Oh, sorry, go ahead,
Hold on,
Travis.
hold on. We have a motion on the floor for 17,000. We have a second.
I second it.
Second by Mr. Campbell. Now discussion.
Sheriff,
Yes, sir.
you think you think a full-time, additional full-time and additional part-time will do it, or are we gonna have to maybe move the part-time
No,
to
I think, no,
full-time?
that'll do it. In addition to that, see, we'll still have the bailiff over here for court. So, but you know, he's here for court. And for the rest of the building, see, whoever's manning that station down there can't leave it.
Yeah,
So you'll still have another bailiff in the courthouse that will be roaming the halls and taking care of the courts as they have them from time to time.
oh, okay, well, that's fine. Just wanted to make sure we funded enough.
Yes, sir. Thank
No,
you.
we fund it till the budget.
Travis, I got a question. How much did
Sir.
it cost, or maybe the mayor can ask this better, I guess. What did it cost to get this done downstairs?
This project's been going on forever. I think this has been a 3-mayor project.
That's what I'm saying. What have we got tied up in this? Over
Isaiah, but yeah, it's probably about $500,000, if not more.
And we're sitting here talking about $50,000.
Yeah.
We better go with the show, I'd say.
Well, it's still 10%, so
You got to give 1%. What's that?
Chairman Hill?
10%.
Yes, Mayor Woodby.
I've got a question for the sheriff, just real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
The bailiff that we have over here for courts and then that's kind of here for the roaming the halls and kind of,
Right.
is he still going to be called out back and forth? Because we know he's getting called over to help in the annex quite a bit, whichever
Well,
one we have
yes,
over here.
yes, the reason behind that is I've got 2 that are out sick, had 1 quit, and we can't move people into the bailiff positions because I was 15 short in the jail. So we just gotta, you know, like I said, I can't keep them. Had 5 quit last week, 4 for more money. Well, 4 jailers, 1 SRO. The SRO went to Bluff City. But yes, ma'am, from time to time, regretfully, until we can get the staff back up on the bailiffs. And we can't do that until we fill the jail positions, because then I can't transfer them.
Okay, I've got one question to that too then, Sheriff.
Yes, sir.
If we hire these additional employees though, they will stay at the courthouse, correct? We're not gonna flex them back and forth between the annex and the,
Yes, yes, that position has to be, yeah, they can't leave that door.
okay.
But you're saying now that they're gonna, if we do it now, you're gonna move them backwards and forwards.
No, not the one at the front door. No,
Okay.
no.
Chairman Hill, Brad Johnson.
Yes, sir, Mr. Johnson.
This 17,000, is that coming from the undesignated fund balance? Because no line item was mentioned or where the funds were coming from.
Mr. Blevins?
Yes. Yes, that's where we take it from, I believe, Brad. I believe that'd be the best place.
Okay.
is that the only place we can take it from, Brad?
You can take unassigned fund balance or other revenues that are designated for the sheriff's department, access board bills, or anywhere you want to take it from.
I mean, my opinion, I'd rather take it from some money that's available. I don't want to take anything away from the sheriff in his budget, but if he's, I mean, if he got some, that much funds available, that'd be the best place, I think. If Mark, if you're up for that.
Is there enough in the board bills?
I doubt it.
Because I saw some of it had been appropriated down. I wasn't sure if any more went.
Most of that stuff is planned throughout the year for things that we've got, I'm having to replace like 700, I don't want to get into that, $1,000 worth of air duct stuff over the jail.
I think we take it from unassigned fund balance. We would leave the motion like you did.
Mr. Campbell, do you accept that?
I'll take it.
Okay. This is for 4 months, correct? 3 months left in this fiscal year and 1 month in the next fiscal year. Is that right?
Yeah, if I did my math right.
Chairman Hill.
Yes, Mayor Woodby.
Sorry, I just gonna ask the sheriff again, if he knows the time frame on all this that's left to do on his end, the bailiffs, the x-ray machine, the metal detector.
No,
do we
ma'am.
know?
No, ma'am, because as many of you have had this conversation, and I appreciate you inviting me, but 3 weeks ago was the first invitation I've had to attend, so that sort of put us behind the eight ball. It's going to take a little time to hire somebody. Right now, about 26 is as soon as we can get someone into a psychological. We got to pass psychological, background check, physical, drug screen. So, you know, I don't know. I'll get them hired as quick as I can. That's all I can promise you.
Okay, thank you.
Now, what we can do, when we get ready to do this down here, if I have to, I can take an existing bailiff and temporarily move him over here or give one of the part-time guys some more hours. But we'll do something to get it, as soon as we're ready to open it, I'll get it filled somewhat temporarily.
I mean, I think, and you probably agree, we could probably just, I mean, the X-ray machine's not that big of a deal right now, but we could probably go ahead and plug the metal detector up and use
Yeah,
the
we
line.
could. Yeah, you could and probably get people used to it. But, you know, we need to schedule a meeting and you need to have that company, whoever it is, come in, do the training on that X-ray machine and assemble it. So I don't know what's required in the assemblance. Wouldn't take a whole lot, but
I'm sorry to be so confusing. Do you want me to handle that, or is that something I've kind of asked Sean Johnson to handle that, and I haven't got a response back from anybody on who wants to handle all that?
if you'll have Abby, or if you will give me the number, contact information, I'll take care of it.
Okay, it was on an email that I sent out to you and Sean and Chief. I had attached the invoice that had all their information on it.
Okay.
So.
All right, have Abby call me and remind me,
If
please.
you don't have it, just let me know and I'll send it again.
Okay.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell,
Yes.
Mark Davis,
Yes.
Robert A. Cook,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Jerry Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yeah.
Travis Hill,
Yes.
Sandra Culler, Daniel McIntyre,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
Yes.
Thomas Prophet,
Yes.
23 ayes.
Thank you.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Quickly, doesn't take a vote. I've made some additions to my sheriff's department's employee handbook, and all I need to do is by statute to give it to the clerk and have her placed into the minutes. And it's just, you're all probably interested, I'm requiring my employees to do the yearly physical. That's what I'm placing into it. But, so that'll maybe get us on our side. You'll never get to 100%, but maybe we get to 100% on that yearly physical. We'll see.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you.
Next item on the agenda is the mayoral proclamations. Mayor Woodby.
Thank you. And I'm sorry I was late. I had another event to attend. I had to throw the first pitch out at the Hampton High School baseball game. So excuse me for being late. I do have a couple of mayoral proclamations. I would like to recognize a couple members of our community. And I'll start with Mr. Ed Jordan. And I know you guys are aware of Ed and what all he's done for our community and his diligence to the litter program and just never giving up on it. So I would like to recognize Ed. I think he's on here. Ed, are you, Mr. Jordan, are you on here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and read the proclamation, Ed, and I want to say thank you as I read it. Whereas Mr. Ed Jordan became a citizen of Carter County several years ago upon his retirement after he discovered and fell in love with the natural beauty and landscapes Carter County has to offer. And whereas not long ago after Mr. Jordan began to notice that the careless actions of some individuals who choose to litter and dump their unwanted items and trash in some of the county's most beautiful areas were detracting from the natural beauty of Carter County. And whereas, instead of ignoring the problem, Mr. Jordan stepped up and started meeting with local city and county officials to work toward solutions. And whereas, at the same time, Mr. Jordan also began coordinating the efforts of community volunteers, and he eventually founded the group Carter County Proud to facilitate cleanup efforts in various areas in Carter County. Whereas Mr. Jordan and others with Carter County Proud spent many hours picking up litter, cleaning up debris along the roadways and streams of Carter County. And whereas through Mr. Jordan's efforts, Carter County Proud eventually became what is now the Keep Carter County Beautiful organization, which is affiliated with Keep Tennessee Beautiful at the state level and the national organization known as Keep America Beautiful. And whereas in 2019, Mr. Jordan was presented the Martin L. Kennedy Award for being the outstanding Tennessee Keep America Beautiful affiliate coordinator. Whereas Mr. Jordan was also recently chosen to receive Love Where You Live Award, which is an award presented by the Keep Tennessee Beautiful organization each year, recognizing individuals who have made a positive difference in the litter cleanup and beautification of their communities. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Patty Whitby, by virtue and authority vested in me by the laws of the great state of Tennessee, do hereby issue this proclamation on behalf of Carter County, Tennessee, to officially honor Ed Jordan for his service to the community and for his tireless efforts to help us keep Carter County beautiful. Thank you, Ed. Would you like to say anything?
Well, I would like to thank you very much for the proclamation. I'm honored and humbled by it. But the award brings great credit upon our leadership and to our community for the whole state of Tennessee that recognizes Carter County as moving forward in this area. And we've made some stride, a lot of stride, thanks to the behalf of the leadership and all the volunteers of this community, not only in beautification, but the impact that this stuff is having on our environment, and along with education for our school kids. This is going to be a change. It's going to take a millennium to change the kids as they grow up to learn this. Again, we've came a long ways, but with your continued support, I think we continue our great stride forward for beautification of our community. And just keep in one thought that this is God's creation. This is not ours. We're put here to take care of it. So let's try and take care of it. And again, I thank you very much for your kind words, and thank all of you for your support.
Thank you, Ed. And also, if you want me to remind everyone what Saturday is.
Yeah, so we have Milligan Highway cleanup. Thank you for reminding me. Milligan Highway cleanup meeting at 10 o'clock in front of Happy Valley Elementary School. And then next weekend on the 27th, we have a pre-planning on the Tweetsie Trail beautification of the Tweetsie Trail in 2 locations. And this is partnering with the Parks and Recreation Division of the city of Elizabethton, which is actually paying the bills for the trees. Going to have holes pre-dug, so we're expecting a good turnout on that. And please mark your calendars for Earth Day of an entire community event we're in the plans of doing right now. It's called Earth Day Celebration, cleaning up the Tweetsie Trail from one end to the next. And it's also Trash Exercise, a new idea for all citizens to get out and exercise and pick up trash. And awareness. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. I really appreciate you. And I know this commission does too.
Let me say something, Mayor, if you don't mind.
Sure, Mr. Garland.
Yeah, I just want to say, Ed, we're proud of you. I got to work with Ed for a long time now, since about 2015. And one person we can't forget is the pretty lady beside of him, Kathy, for supporting Ed through all this and being there, helping us out the whole time too. But we're proud of him. He's really helped us out. And he didn't mention, and I know he's not going to take credit for all of it, but there's so many other people behind the scenes that help out in this group. And I'm just going to name a few if, hopefully they're listening, or at least give them some acknowledgement real quick. And of course, Kathy, first of all, Laura Gilruth, she puts the stuff out there and notifies everybody on social media and everything. Ed Visconti's been fantastic with so many projects and just a great mind behind it. Mike Semmerly, City Council, he's right there with us, part of the board. City of Elizabethton too, they've really helped us out through this, the whole thing for a while, and just a joint partnership, and the county as well. I mean, huge support the whole time. Anytime money's come up or anything like that, it's been pretty much a unanimous decision. Mike McDonald, Ginger, of course, on the board here and the commission. Just so many people that need to be recognized and that work so hard to make this such a successful organization so far. But we got to thank Ed. He took charge and really showed some fantastic leadership, and he's done some great stuff for us and continue to do more. So thank you all, everybody.
And thank you too, Ross. You've been right with us all along from the
Yes,
beginning. You've been a fabulous support to us.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Along with all the Keep Carter County beautiful board members.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let's give Mr. Jordan a hand.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Ed.
Hand right back to you.
Mhm.
Thank
Mayor
you,
Wood.
back.
Thank you.
Mayor Woodby, I think you have another proclamation. on the-
I do. The next proclamation is Matt Birchfield. I think he's on here with us. I'm going to recognize the life from his dad, Mr. Bill Birchfield, and I'll go ahead and begin reading the proclamation. Matt, are you on? I think he is. I think-
Yes, I'm on.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and read this in recognition of your dad. Whereas Bill Birchfield was a native of Roan Mountain in Carter County, having been born November 28, 1941 to Frank and Florence Elliott Birchfield. And whereas Mr. Birchfield attended Cloudland High School, where he was a highly decorated athlete, and he later played football on the collegiate level for Liz McRae College. He also attended East Tennessee State University, where he received his Bachelor of Science degree in education. Whereas after completing his education, Mr. Birchfield served in the Carter County school system for nearly 3 decades, with 25 of those years being spent at Cloudland High School, where he also coached both football and basketball. Whereas in 1968, Mr. Birchfield led the Cloudland High School boys basketball team to a win in the state tournament and was named Coach of the Year, and he was inducted into the Carter County Sports Hall of Fame in 2014. And whereas Mr. Birchfield was also an avid farmer, having been a longtime member of the Carter County Cattlemen's Association, past member of the Soil Conservation Board, past recipient of the Conservation Farmer of the Year Award from the Tennessee Agricultural Extension Agency, and was voted as the 2017 Livestock Producer of the Year. And whereas Mr. Birchfield was married to Eloise Birchfield for 56 years, and together they raised a family in Carter County. Mr. Birchfield died February 19, 2021, having lived a full life and serving as an inspiration, a mentor in the lives of many young people in Carter County and throughout his community of Roan Mountain. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Patty Woodby, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the laws of the great state of Tennessee, do hereby issue this proclamation on behalf of Carter County, Tennessee, to officially honor Bill Birchfield for his life of service to Carter County and his community. Matt, I want to say thank you to you and your family, and your father just seemed like such a great guy, and I'd like to hear any words that you would like to speak about him.
Well, thank you. We hope he made a big difference in a lot of kids' life, being a teacher 36 years, and not only in Roan Mountain, but he was 4 years at Unaka High School. And, he just made a big difference in the community, involved in soil conservation, the farming. He loved nature. He loved being outside and, being part of that. And it's been around his family. We're just honored, and we want to thank you guys for having Dad and honoring him in this. And I know Mom's here with us, and just honored to be part of it. And we want to say thank you to you and the commission for honoring Dad at this.
Well, thank you. And I really appreciate your family and everything that you've done for the Roan Mountain community. I know you guys have been an inspiration there, and I know your dad was. I've spoken to many people that really admired him, and many, he was the leader in that area, especially for a lot of children. So I think that means a lot to this community. So I wanted to have myself in this commission recognize him for his leadership and what his service to our community.
Mayor would be Brad Johnson.
Yeah. Brad.
Okay, I don't know if he's me. I just wanted to add a couple things. Bill was a great man, a great friend, and I can guarantee you that all of his accomplishments that was read here, plus more. For one, he was a man of great faith, and that's what directed him through all his career. But it also he left a legacy to all to look at. There's one author that I read that asked the question, can your character, if it was walking down the street and run into your reputation, would they know each other? And I can say that Brother Bill, his would. And one of the bigger points that during the, the recognition as a basketball coach, because that was during the era which I was fortunate enough to play for Hampton. And if you can just imagine, nobody in Vanderbilt University or Vanderbilt Gym knew even the name Cloudland. They had heard Hampton before because of Buck's success in the 60s, but wondered where Cloudland was. And since that time, and I have to give accolade to Matt because he has returned that school and that community to the middle part of our state where the name Cloudland is known to all the schools of their classification, because it's not that they think it's a pushover. It's always that question mark what they have to do to get by. I'd like to say thanks to the family, and he will never be forgotten. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Brad. And Matt, I want to say again, congratulations on your trip to Murfreesboro last week. Taking those girls down was a once in a lifetime opportunity, I know, for them. So yes, thank you for your leadership and your family's leadership in this community. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Matt, I'll get a copy of this proclamation to you next week. I'll call you and you can come down and get an official copy and we'll have a presentation for it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank y'all so much. We really appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Let's give Mr. Bill Birchfield a hand for his life and dedication to Roan Mountain. Okay. Next on the agenda is resolutions. First one will be resolution declaring Carter County, Tennessee a sanctuary county for the United States Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Attorney Harden.
Yes, sir. This first resolution is just what you said. It's a symbolic resolution, but it does essentially state on behalf of Carter County that we respect the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights still, even though at the federal level, maybe not getting as much respect as it used to.
I make a motion that we accept this.
Second, Aaron Fraser, seventh.
Motion by Ms. Brown, second by Mr. Fraser. Any discussion?
Chairman Hill, Acuff First District. This did come through Health and Welfare. The vote was 8-0 in favor.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell.
Yes.
Mark Blevins.
Yes.
Robert Acuff.
Yes.
Nancy Brown.
Yes.
Mike Hill.
Yes.
Julie Gwynn.
Yes.
Bradley Johnson.
Yes.
Mark Tester.
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon.
I'm holding a copy of the United States Constitution, and this only reaffirms what is already a part of our heritage. Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff.
Yes.
Gary Prophet.
Yes.
Austin James.
Yes.
Ross Garland.
Yes.
Layla Ward.
Yes.
Ginger Holdren.
Yes.
Randall Jenkins.
Yes.
Gary Bailey.
Yeah.
Travis Hill.
Yes.
Sandra Carter. Daniel McIntyre.
Yes.
Aaron Fraser.
Yes.
Robin McCamey.
Yes.
Kelly Collins.
Yes.
Thomas Prophet.
Yes.
23 ayes.
Motion passed. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a resolution expressing opposition to House Bill 366. Attorney Harden.
Yes, sir. This is a resolution regarding pending legislation in the Tennessee General Assembly, the House Bill 366 and its companion bill in the Senate 1604. The proposal is essentially to require counties to pay for rights of way near or in new developments within the county instead of the traditional method of the developer donating those, the county requiring a donation of the right of way as part of the development. So this would be a huge financial impact if counties were required to buy those rights of way. This did come through Highway Committee and Planning Commission and recommended passage unanimously in both.
We have a motion.
Motion to approve. Mark.
Motion by Mr. Blevins,
Second. Third district.
second by Mr. Von Cannon. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll. Oh, go ahead, Mr. Johnson.
The question is, once this is passed, since it is an active bill in the legislation, are we going to give this to our representative? Because it's never mentioned, and I just want to make sure it's in his hand, that that's how he supports our county.
Yes, sir. This resolution, if adopted here, would be sent to all of our representatives in the General Assembly. That's what the intention of it was. If it doesn't say explicitly, is yes, it would be sent to each member in House and Senate representing Carter County.
All right, thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell,
Yes.
Mark Blevins,
Yes.
Robert Acuff,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon.
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Gary Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yeah.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yeah.
Travis Hill,
Yes.
Sandra Culler, Daniel McIntyre,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
Yes.
Thomas Prophet,
Yes.
23 ayes.
Motion passed. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a resolution to support the instruction of the criminal justice program at TCAT and support the implementation of the post certification program. Attorney Harden.
Yes, sir. This resolution is essentially expressing support for the plans they have there at TCAT to incorporate post training, police officer standard training at the program in Elizabethton. Mr. Miles Cook is the instructor there, and he appeared in the committee, and I think he's on here and may say something about this. But essentially, it passed through Law Enforcement Committee unanimously, and he's looking for support from this commission at the state level to try and incorporate post training into the local program here.
Chairman Hill, I would vote to move the resolution forward.
Okay. Motion by Dr. Acuff.
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Grindstaff. Okay. Second by Mr. Grindstaff. Any discussion?
I've got a question, Chairman.
Yes, sir, Mr. Frazier.
Mr. Cook, how many people do you expect to be able to take through the course on an annual basis?
On an annual basis, we are looking at capping between 20 and 25 people per trimester.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Cook, do you want to give us a quick overview of your program?
I can give you a quick overview. I don't want to take much of your time. It's an 864-hour program, which covers the most basic and advanced law enforcement corrections training that's been seen in the state. Most of this is done at little to no cost to the student. And we kind of pay it forward or pay it back by hosting post and TCI certified training here for outside agencies, which we did last week. My concern is trying to train up the best officers that we can offer in the state. And we can do that at little to no cost through state and federal funding through the TCAT College program. What I think would be of great interest to you all, especially as I heard Sheriff Lunsford talk at the very start, is could you imagine if every 4 to 8 months we were pushing out the most highly trained correctional deputies, police officers, and whatever have you in this state, and can offer back low to no cost training here in-house in these 5 counties that we serve. It would change the way you all discuss these budget with the sheriff's office.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Cook? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell,
Yes.
Mark Blevins,
Yes.
Robert Acuff,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Yes, good.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Gary Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yes.
Travis Hill,
Yes.
Sonja Culler, Daniel McIntyre,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
Yes.
Thomas Prophet,
Yes.
23 ayes.
Motion passed. Thank you. At this time, I will seek a motion to adjourn the meeting to have a public hearing for the Carter County zoning resolution that we have next.
Sure,
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Grindstaff. Second by Mr. Frazier. Any discussion?
You not mean to recess?
It's got adjourned meeting on the agenda, so is that what we do?
Yeah, you just recess the meeting as the chairman or adjourn the meeting, whatever you want to say.
Okay.
And then call the public hearing in order and see if anybody in the public is present to speak.
Okay, well, we'll just recess it then, and then we'll jump right into the public hearing. So the meeting is now recessed. Public hearing is now open. Do we have anybody from the public who would like to talk about this zoning resolution? Hearing nobody from the public, public hearing is now closed, and we will reconvene the meeting.
Okay, I'll go ahead and say that, yeah, the resolution now for consideration is for the purpose of amending the zoning resolution of Carter County to adopt this new essentially flood plain resolution, and probably not going to drum up much interest from the public in speaking because there's no real changes. This essentially has to be redone every so often so that we keep the fire or the National Flood Insurance Program eligibility, which is very important. But there's not a lot of, I guess, substantive changes from the last time this was done, I think in 2013. But Mr. Schutler may be on here to explain more about this.
Yes, sir, Mr. Harden. Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir, Dr. Schutler.
Okay, basically what it is Mr. Harden has spoke of, is that every now and then we have to come back and redo some things in the National Flood Insurance Program. And one thing is our resolution. In this resolution, the monetary amount for any violations had to be put in place. And then it also, the 2013 resolution, we didn't kill out the other two resolutions. So this basically controls and tells that this is the most current, recent, and enforceable resolution we have. And that's pretty much everything that's on it.
Thank you, Director Schutler.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have a motion to accept it?
Motion, Brad Johnson, third.
Motion by Mr. Johnson,
Second. Take that first.
second by Ms. Collins. Any discussion?
She has a deep voice and
Well, I seen her picture light up at the same time right before he spoke. So
he lights the world up, Lord.
all right,
Frazier,
having
Frazier.
discussion. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell,
Yes.
Mark Blevins,
Yes.
Robert Acuff,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill. Mike Hill. Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Jerry Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yeah.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yeah.
Travis Hill,
Yes.
Sandra Culler, Daniel McInturf,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
Yes.
Thomas Prophet,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
I think we lost Mike.
22
Yes.
Ah,
There he is. 23 ayes.
Motion passed. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is discussion regarding economic development. And I put that on the agenda because back in February, the city council took a vote 7-1 to basically say that they want to move forward with the city or the county in discussing the possibility of a joint effort in this. And in their motion, they basically want to send this to the JECDB to look at one position, come up with a job description, salary estimate, location for the housing, and performance objectives. So I guess we need to decide if we want to continue on that same path to seek this out and see what they come up with, and then have a meeting to determine if we want to go that direction. Does anybody want to discuss any part of this? Or make a motion?
Well, shouldn't, Mr. Chairman, Brad Johnson,
Yes, sir, Mr. Johnson.
would it not be more effective if we don't assign this for monitoring and recommendation, the study from one of our committees? So once it's, everything has been brought to the service, that it can be presented to the full commission.
We can do whatever the will of the body is. It doesn't matter to me. I just know they're kind of looking to see if we're still wanting to have a partnership in it. So I think that's all that I was looking for. If we don't want to make any action tonight, then that's perfectly fine as well. We just need to get on the ball with it.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Mr. Bailey.
Would this been the one where I asked them if they wanted to give the 20% and we give them the 80 and they drive and we ride?
I think that was a discussion, but
Are they
I'm not
still wanting to stay around the same amount of money, or are they looking at?
I can't say that. I don't know what they're looking at. I just know that was a proposal, not from the city. I mean, I think that's why they're wanting to send it to the JECDB board to look at things and come up with a salary and all that stuff. And then once that's presented to, I guess approved by that board, I think there's like a executive committee that it would be presented to both funding bodies, and we would decide if we like it, if we don't like it, what can be changed and whatever.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir, Mr. Price.
Is that not, as we were discussing that during that joint meeting, is that not what we were advised would be controlled basically by state law? They have that economic development formula where different, all of our different groups, so the city of Watauga, Johnson City, the city of Elizabethton, there's a ratio there that we kind of have to meet. I think they explained that we could give more than what the ratio says, but we couldn't go under that ratio. So that's something to keep in mind as well. That's kind of governed by that equation, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, the funding is governed by that equation, but we still have between us and the city or whoever else wants to be involved, we have the ability to set what that baseline would be, and it would be up to them if they're going to meet it or not, I suppose. Chairman Hill.
Yes, sir, Mr. Frazier.
Dr. McAbee and I have been having some discussions about this as well, and there's some other moving pieces to this. Sending it through the JECDB so all that stuff could be brought up is probably going to be the best thing to do, because Dr. McAbee is involved there as well as the mayor and myself, and Ginger Holdren is over there as well. So don't expect the commission to do anything at this point. I think, at least for myself, I've got a different set of eyes for it from going through the classes with the state, and I go through another one this week for entrepreneurship, small business ownership, and different things like that. for the incubator side of it. But the city is wanting to fund one individual person, and the county has other needs such as a grant writer and some other things that have been proposed. And I think letting it go through the JECDB and see what the committee there and the executive committee there comes up with and try to move forward with that is going to be the better idea, rather than us belabor it any longer than we've already beat that horse.
Right. Right. And I mean, I think even if we decide to go with 2 extra positions, at least if the city and us want to work together for the economic developer, I think that's still a possibility. I think we just need to basically kind of give our nod of the hat that says we want to continue on this path of looking at a joint development. Yes, sir,
Yeah,
Mr. Garland.
Chairman Hill, just my thoughts on this, that one person we seem to forget about this a lot of times is Chris Schuler in the planning department, that they're really, I mean, I don't know if they'd be our main point of contact now, but they've served basically in that position for a long time now. And I think we can't forget about them and any kind of talks we have or recommendations they have, or just to include them in this whole process. Cause I know he's worked hard for us and done a good job. So that's somebody we can't forget.
Agreed.
I would rather not drop a house on Chris though. Because he already has his hands full enough, and this right here is more than a full-time position, just the economic developer.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not saying just turn it over to Chris, but he's somebody that has experience and has worked for the county in this capacity for some time. So somebody just we got to keep in mind.
Does anybody want to make a motion or anything that says that we want to continue on and basically let the JECDB work everything out so that the city knows that we're still interested in working with them?
Mr. Chair, I'd be more than willing to make that motion to move this forward and allow the JEDBC to kind of come together on a budget, I guess, if you will.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Grindstaff, second by Mr. Frazier. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell. Mark Blevins. Robert A. Cuff.
Yes.
Nancy Brown.
Yes.
Mike Hill.
Yes.
Julie Gwynn.
Yes.
Bradley Johnson.
Yes.
Mark Tester.
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon.
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff.
Yes.
Jerry Prophet.
Yes.
Austin James.
Yes.
Ross Garland.
Yes.
Layla Ward.
Yeah.
Ginger Holdren. Ginger Holdren. Randall Jenkins.
Yes.
Gary Bailey.
Yeah, why not?
Travis Hill.
Yes.
Sandra Culler. Daniel McIntyre.
Yes.
Aaron Frazier.
Yes.
Robin McCamey.
Yes.
Kelly Collins.
Yes.
Thomas Prophet.
Yes.
Ginger Holdren.
Yes.
23 ayes.
Motion passed. Thank you all. And I'll pass that along to the city. And at this time, let's take let's go and get Mayor Woodby out of the way, and then we'll move on. We'll take a recess and move into committee reports. So Mayor Woodby.
Thanks, Chairman. To get myself out of the way. All right. Just a few things. I'll go over some vaccine, kind of some numbers on the vaccine and how everything's going. Currently, we have fully vaccinated 55, almost 6,000 Carter County residents fully vaccinated. 14,809 doses have been administered. So that's when their first dose. So we're moving pretty good there. We've had 4 straight weeks of less than 80 new cases identified in a week. And our peak week was December 13th through 19th with 482 new cases identified that week. So 16 straight weeks of less than 100 active cases on any given day. So that's good. We're moving right along. Also, everybody knows that several of the mayors and myself decided to lift the mask mandate, if that's what you want to call it. Really wasn't a mandate because we had no enforcement behind it. Just want to kind of go over what we've done, and that moved it from a requirement to just a request. I feel that most of our citizens have demonstrated that they can and will protect their neighbors by wearing face coverings where physical distancing is not possible. Vaccination rates are rising in Northeast Tennessee, and as we expand into the other age groups and phases, and hospitalization rates are down. So, and what does stay in place, I'm sure most of you know, businesses can still request people wear face coverings when they come in. Does not impact the safety of the school system, the colleges, or the universities regarding in-person learning. Tennessee Supreme Court orders will continue to apply. So if there's court held in any of the courthouse facilities, you still are required to wear a mask upon entry. That requires this courthouse and the annex. You still have to wear a face covering. Rules regarding limiting spectators, requiring face coverings at high school and college sporting events are not impacted. And businesses and individuals should continue to follow the CDC guidelines. So that's kind of where we're at on moving it from a requirement to a request. And we've already went over the courthouse security project. Everybody knows the status of it. Election roof, I just kind of want to let everybody know we took Vanderpool Roofing to do the roof, and they're going to start. We've got ready to schedule them here in the next week or so. They had the lowest quote, so we're going to go with them. So update on the clerk and master's door. The project is out for bids. We've got 4 contractors currently looking at it. We done the pre-bid last week, did a walkthrough of the project, and the contractors kind of looked at what they were getting into. We'll do the full bid here on actually tomorrow, and we've obtained approvals through the zoning committee, the historical zoning committee, and the state fire marshal and the local building officials. So all that project's ready to go. We'll start April 15th, and there'll be a brand new door there and completed by June 1. Let's see. And if you've not been over to the parking lot, we've restriped, new striping and new handicap signage on all the parking spots here in the courthouse. That's all been redone. And workforce development. Let me give you a little update on what's going on with that big project. We've got Shaw and Shanks on that project. The surveyor has finished that assessment. It took 3 weeks to survey that property, the inside, outside, and kind of getting what we own, what we don't own. We'll have to do an ESA assessment, which is an environmental site assessment. That's a review of the site's history and activities on the site to determine any likelihood of hazardous materials on the site. We will also have to do a hazardous materials testing of the buildings, which will test for asbestos, lead-based paint, and other potentially hazardous materials. Those are 2 tests that have to be performed on those buildings. So that's the stages we're in there, and they're finishing up the floor plans for those buildings also. And I know Brad will be interested in that information. They were up there today finishing up the walkthrough. So it's a very large project. That property is massive. That's a massive property. The probation office, the building has been vacated. We no longer have any tenants in that building. It's been assessed by Ron, the maintenance guys. What they tell me is that it's structurally sound, but it's going to need a complete upgrade as far as roof, HVAC units, windows, and complete electrical will have to be done and ADA compliant for that building to be used. So that's just the status of that building to let the commission know we need to decide on what the plans are possibly going to be for that building. It needs a lot of work. And we've gotten all the old files out of the basement off the floors. Some were ruined. Obviously, we did buy shelving and get them moved up to the storage unit up at Workforce to try to salvage most of them. But we did have a lot of wet files come out of there. So I don't know if we're going to be able to save those. Some go back to the early 1900s court files. So we're hoping to be able to save those. And that's kind of all I've got for updates. But there is something I want to run by you guys. When I was on nominating committee, we kind of started trying to reassess the committees on terms and trying to keep up when who expired and when everybody came about. And I think Aaron has taken that over with the list. So recently the records committee met, and it was brought to my attention that the historian does not have a term limit. It's kind of like, and Josh can attest to this, the TCA is very vague. It's kind of like an indefinite term, and I'm not really sure how you be indefinite. But I think he's been on for 6 or 7 years. And so I wanted to ask the commission if they would like to set a term limit and then present this to nominating for reappointment. So we can actually have that filled correctly with applications. And the current historian can apply again. It's just to set it up for term limits, get a term limit on it, and kind of get it in the diagram of whenever all these terms expire. Because right now, the TCA doesn't have an expiration on that particular term. So that's some discussion that I wanted to bring up to the commission on that particular position.
Who's holding that position right now?
Scott Bowers is currently holding it. And I think he's been on, Josh, we say 6 or 7 years.
6 years or so.
I saw some letters from Mr. Bowers dating back, or Keith Bowers when he was the county attorney, dating back to at least 2013. So I think it's been around 8 years or so that Scott Bowers has been the historian. It's a position appointed by the full commission. There is no pay or compensation or no real, strictly set forth duties of the county historian, but the position does coordinate with the state historian, and he is a member of the Public Records Commission by virtue of being the county historian. And of course, if we do get to the point of establishing an archives, it'd be a much more utilized position.
Yeah, and we met, the archive or the records committee met last week, and it's getting some movement. So I really want to make sure this committee, the terms are correct and it's in the right spot that it's in, because archives is becoming a #1 topic of what we're going to have to do. As I said before, we may have lost a few records in the basement of the probation building. When we got down in there, everything was wet. So I feel like all the positions on committees need some form of a term, so you can kind of reevaluate each person that's on there as they, just like any committee that we do, planning, any of our committees. We just now done the equalization board, they come up and they reapply, and we appoint them to go right back on. But I still feel like there needs to be a process for this particular position also. And I would like to task nominating with accepting applications and doing a reappointment on that.
Yeah, I'll bring it up at the April, Mayor.
Chairman.
Yes, sir, Mr. James.
While we're in here doing it, I wouldn't care to go ahead and just put into a form of a motion that we set this position in a 2-year-long position and send it back to nominating for putting it back out to republish it. And
okay, so Mr. James wants to put a 2-year term limit on it and then reappointment after that.
yes,
I'll second it.
And we'll have to, of course, publish it when it goes back here in a few days, because the one now currently doesn't have a term limit, so we'll have to re-advertise and fulfill it now. But
is that Ms. Brown with the second?
Yes, it was.
So a motion by Mr. James, second by Ms. Brown. Any discussion?
So also, are you tasking nominating to do a reappointment on it also, and then we said it?
yes,
Yes.
yeah, because we'll have to, because there's no time limit currently set on the one now, so we'll have to publish the vacancy and fill it, and then that'll start the 2-year time period.
Once it's filled, okay, that's fine. That's what we were trying to do.
Chairman Hill, question for County Attorney, Acuff First District.
Yes, sir, Dr. Acuff.
Josh, what does it say about residency? We've been through with one of the members of this particular committee who no longer lived in Carter County, and there had become a question. So I would assume that anyone that's member of this particular committee should be a Carter County resident.
I had the same question, Dr. Acuff. I had the same question.
Yes, I think so. It isn't. It's kind of vague in the statute. It isn't as clear as it is in other, talking about county positions that have to be a county resident or a registered voter of a certain district. But it does say it shall be some person of the county. So I'm assuming of the county means a county resident, and I agree with you. I think maybe the current county historian, I'm not sure that he is still a county resident. I don't know that for a fact, but that could be a concern as well.
Thank you, sir.
So Josh, do you think for clarification, we should basically state it should be Carter County resident, or?
Sure. I think it's implied if it's not directly required, and I don't know why you would want a non-Carter County resident to be in charge of preserving the history of Carter County.
Josh, do we have to make any sort of amendment to the requirements, or can we just publish them as being a Carter County resident?
Right, yeah, I think you can just publish it as a Carter County resident. There, like I said, it's really that vague reference is the only reference to any qualification whatsoever. So I think you can publish it as we're seeking a Carter County resident to serve in the role of county historian for a term of 2 years.
Chairman Hill.
Yes, sir, Mr. Garland.
I feel like there's some kind of questions, that we haven't answered or gone to. I think it might be better if we move this forward to Building and Grounds, or not Building and Grounds, but Rules and Bylaws Committee, maybe to answer some questions that may be brought up. Nothing against Austin James's motion, but it sounds like there's just some questions that need to be asked and addressed before actually setting a term limit, or, just my thoughts on that. I'm sorry.
I'd just like to say, I don't think that's necessary. We have the county attorney on. This committee meets again next month, and the TCA is like 2 lines. It literally says, that's all they do is just, we choose them and they're of the county. I don't know why we would prolong it.
Well,
that's just my thoughts. We have the full body here. There's a motion on the floor. I don't know why we would prolong that.
Chairman.
Mr. James.
Yeah, I wouldn't care to amend my motion and add it that it needs to be a Carter County resident if Ms. Brown's fine with that.
I'm fine with it.
Okay. So we'll add that in. It must be a Carter County resident. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir, Mr. Von Cannon.
I think that's a bit short-sighted that they have to be a Carter County resident, because I know a lady that was former resident of Carter County that knows who you married and why about county residents. She knows more than any other person I've ever seen in history, and I know a bit of it. Dawn Peters can run circles around anybody in this county as far as really being a good historian. And she was a native of Pogie, but she lives, I think, now in Jonesboro. But if you really want a historian, that's one, for sure. So if you've made the decision, it wasn't in the specs originally about about residency. It was just assumed. It was never in the. So I disagree that if you want the best, somebody out there is really. That's just one I know. There may be others.
Anyone else? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell,
Yes.
Mark Blevins,
Yes.
Robert A. Cuff,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yeah.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Pass.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Jerry Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
no.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Ginger Holdren.
Pass.
I'm sorry,
Pass.
Pass.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Why, yes.
Travis Hill,
Yeah, right. No.
No.
Sandra Culler, Daniel McIntyre,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
No.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
No.
Thomas Prophet.
Yes.
Does anyone want to change their vote?
Yes, change mine to no. I'd like to change mine, profit to no.
Okay. Ginger. Ginger, want to change yours?
I'll vote no.
Okay. 16-7.
Motion passed.
16 yeses, 7 nos.
Motion passed. Thank you. Mayor Woodby, you have anything else?
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's take about a 10-minute recess. Come back at 7:30.
Oh.
Don't forget to mute your mics. All right, it's 7:30, maybe a few minutes after. Once everybody starts filing in, we'll get started back with Budget Committee. Hey, Billy, there they come.
Why do I hear crickets?
You got
Probably
one
my
on your head? You got one on your head?
No.
Somebody said it's their phone.
Somebody's got a nice soothing tone going on there. I'm about to go to sleep.
Well, you hear them.
Hey, you hearing crickets?
Yep, crickets and frogs are chirping.
See if it is now.
Yep, still chirping.
Still is, not mine.
No, it's not. It's an ambient noise.
You know, I have 2 brand new hearing aids and they don't work near as good as this.
Yeah, I get that completely because my dad bought.
Oh, I don't have change.
They told me I had trauma when the 7 boys beat the hell out of them with skateboards. I got hit 20 or 30 times in that ear with a ring that had spikes on it.
Oh,
it just ate me alive. But I didn't do it right. I should have knocked the horse shit out of the first 3. And I could have done that, but.
Chairman James, you want to go ahead and get started?
I'm kind of enjoying the conversation here.
The only good thing was they turned the wheels when they was using the swing bit. They didn't have the wheels.
I like to have me some good old tater soup.
Hang on a minute, Travis. She's going to get something.
Okay.
Hey, have you been up to Amber's in Hampton yet?
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
We were pretty well pleased with the turkey special.
I ain't eat no turkey.
They had turkey special Sunday.
Oh, shoot.
My wife got that, and I got a big old hamburger about that big.
They're doing it. Everything's done right, seems like. I like it.
I asked her how many of her commissioners had been up there, and she said 2.
Where's that at?
Amber's and.
Well, I've been up there and she didn't know it.
Before.
Maybe.
Who owned that for a long time before? It said empty a lot. It said empty a long time.
Well,
you don't
Who
have
owned that
it.
building?
I don't know who owned it.
What do you need?
The last
On
one.
Lake Shore?
Cheat sheet.
Did he own it?
Where's it at?
Huh?
Across from Hammond High
Who
School.
gives
Oh,
you
okay. Yeah, okay. Elementary.
Austin's
Okay, yeah.
Austin.
All right. Are we ready to go?
Yeah, just go slow, please.
Okay.
20 minutes. Another 20
Go ahead, Chairman James.
All right, Chairman, since you're trying to rush us here. All right, let's everybody get turned into budget.
Okay.
All right, first up, I put into a form of a motion to appropriate $4,000 from the general fund unassigned fund balance for the installation of the Trash Trout Junior Passive Litter Collection System. The county will appropriate 2,000 of these funds to the city of Elizabethton and 2,000 to the county Parks and Recs Department.
Second.
Sorry, I was on mute. Motion by Mr. James, second by Ms. Holden. Any discussion?
Did a little checking on those things. They are, for the most part, water sport friendly, as in kayaks and floats.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell,
Yes.
Mark Blevins,
Yes.
Robert Acuff,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Roseanne Cannon,
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Gary Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins, Gary Bailey,
Yes.
Al Field,
Yes.
Tanja Culler, Daniel McIntyre,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
Yes.
Thomas Prophet,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
all ayes.
Motion passed. Thank you.
All right, let's see. Next, I put into a form of a motion to rescind the county commission's motion approved on September the 5th, 2008, that allocated 18% of the county's 50% of the local option sales tax lost effective on January the 1st, 2019. The new motion is for the county to retain the entire 50% of its LOST for the general or other county fund, then allocate budget some other available county revenue to the Education Capital Projects Fund number 177 beginning July the 1st, 2021.
Make the motion.
Motion by Mr. James,
Second.
second by Mr. Campbell. Mr. Blevins. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair, wouldn't that need to be done separately? The motion to rescind and then another motion to approve?
I think so. Is that right, Mr. Harden?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the first motion will be to rescind.
Don't you have to have 2/3 vote on a rescission?
I believe that is correct.
That is correct.
Chairman Hill, Acuff First District.
Sir, Mr. Reese.
As I was reading through the discussion, I was not able to meet or to come to the budget meeting last week, but I was reading through, this is a 5-3 decision coming out of budget. I'd like to understand the 3 no votes, why you voted no. Obviously, there was some concern by yourself, Commissioner Garland, and Commissioner McCamey. I'd like to understand that, please, sir.
Who wants to go first, Mr. Garland or Ms. McCamey?
Well, I'll go. And of course, Travis, you've said this, first of all, that you've got kids that are in the city of Elizabethton schools. And I can say that myself. I represent, I don't know an exact number of city of Elizabethton constituents. So, I'm, thinking about them also. I hate to take all that money away from them when, it's money that it's helping our schools. And that's what I said. City and county to me is really the same thing. I know it's separate entities or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's still Carter County, and we're all in the same place. So that was my thinking on it, and I just didn't really want to take anything away. What I wanted to see was us get a majority of that percentage, and then give City of Elizabethton a portion of that. But I don't think that that's an option to do in this situation. It's pretty much all or nothing. I think that Brad could probably answer that, but that was my understanding at Monday night budget.
And I don't care to speak my part. Like Mr. Garland said, I do have kids in the city schools, which I pay tuition for, but I sent everybody out a little bit of information today that I'd reach out to Mr. Van Huss, that basically apparently when the county school sold the city of sold the Elizabethton City Schools to the city back in the 60s. I believe they had some kind of formal agreement that these children in those civil districts that I referred to, which include the first, the third, the sixth, and the fourth, will get to go into the Elizabethton High School once they get to that grade level. And currently there's 94 tuition-free county kids who are coming into the city schools. So that's my portion.
That's exactly my thoughts as well. There are tuition-free kids, and I represent the city, and I also teach for the city. And I agree that we're trying to be partners and work together and be a whole. And I think it's kind of a slap in the face to the city, and I think it looks bad.
Yeah. Chairman Hill, thank you very much, and I appreciate your all's candidness regarding this particular issue. The way I read it, it seemed to follow the position that it's almost like it was retribution because of the fact that the way that the minutes read, that it was initially, it came about because of the fact that we owe the city some tax money that was discovered. And I would hate to think, as Ms. McCamey and all of you have said, that there is retribution against the city. Even though the county commission can do this, I understand. Josh Harden may want to weigh in on this, but I think without any notice to the city, they may have been at that meeting. I don't know. I think that was, and we're looking to enrich our partnerships with them. I think this is the wrong path to go down. And I would also remind, if it does pass, that it doesn't become commission money. It belongs to the school board. That's my understanding, the county school board. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Chairman Hill.
Yes, Mr. James.
I'd like to weigh in on a little bit of that. So let's see, let's start first. One main problem with this is I do understand that there is 94 students that is currently going to the City of Elizabethton school system that is tuition free. The other problem with that is that we currently have students that is going to the City of Elizabethton school system that is not free. So are we going to discriminate against our other districts, but make them have to pay tuition while some does not? And the county tax rate, as everybody knows, same straight across the board. For every individual person, you pay 2.47 on every 100 that you have. So that's the first thing. Second thing, this is all county sales tax. This is nothing that is generated within inside the city. This is people that's up in Roll Mountain going and purchasing goods. This is people that's in Hampton going and purchasing goods. That's the second thing. You know, and the other problem with this is as great as it is that we have 94 students that is able to attend the City of Elizabethton schools without any tuition, as we all know, our personal county school system is suffering and having problems on a yearly basis with financial position. So that 94 students that's not paying tuition to go to the City of Elizabethton schools is costing roughly $8,300 per child to the Carter County school system that we're not receiving from BEP funding that the City of Elizabethton is able to receive. So there is a lot of benefit and loss in it at the same time. It's not just the fact that we have 94 students that's attending that's free. That's great. You know, but that was the deal that was worked out in the 60s, and this was a resolution that was passed in 2009. So we've got a big gap there that has to be filled anyways if we're trying to look at that. And also on the other part, clarify me if I'm wrong, Brad, but the motion says that this is to be spent on capital projects, and only if they allocate the same amount of sales tax to a capital project line item. Has anybody verified to see if the City of Johnson City or the City of Elizabethton has been doing that to meet the requirements of the motion?
Chairman Hill, I'd like to chime in.
Yes, Ms. McCamey.
Although the county does get 8,300, or the city gets 8,300 per student for the BEP that you're losing in the county, it's still $10,000. It's an average of $10,000 per student. So it sounds like the city's getting a lot of money, but we're actually losing money.
Mr. Chairman, I would maybe out of line what I'm getting ready to say as well, but I'm going to say, you know, you've got 13,000 taxpayers or residents inside the city limits who on their tax bill for county taxes are paying for county schools that they don't benefit from.
Well, you are correct, Chairman. There is. But at the same point in time, we all here, every one of us, go into the city. I went today, spent several hundreds of dollars probably or more shopping. That sales tax revenue was generated inside the city and it stays completely inside the city. So we all as county residents also purchase, shop, eat, dine, all within inside the city. And that's sales tax revenue that we as county residents never see a dime of it back as. So, you know, there's weighing it out there. Ms. McAmey, I do understand that it costs $10,000 or $10,500 per child. But at the same point in time, our classrooms and our schools are not full enough to what they need to be able to pay our teachers. So, you know, even though it's costing a little more, we're losing a lot more by not having those students. And my greatest problem that I have with it is when you take children, for instance, my child or anybody's from Raw Mountain or anybody outside these districts are still having to pay tuition to send their kids to city schools. And they are paying the same amount of taxes that somebody is paying that lives in the district close that's not having to pay tuition. It's not fair. I mean, that's straight across the board, not fair for them on that level. But I believe Chairman Attorney Harden, I think, had something to weigh in on this. Did you have something to say, Josh?
I did not necessarily. I'm happy to answer a question if I can.
Well, I wasn't for sure. I thought Mr. Director had Director Burke said you had something to say. Director, did you have something you'd like to weigh in on?
Yes, I was, as far as Josh goes, we discussed the issue on the motion passed in 2008, and it referred to some action that was introduced, I believe, in 2003, maybe. And at that point, we were unsure if the motion needed to be rescinded or a resolution prepared and presented or what. But Josh, am I remembering correctly that you had actually brought this issue up a few years ago?
Well, the specific issue I was asked about, I think in 2014 by Mayor Humphrey was, is the county or was the county setting up this separate fund for capital projects? And at that time I thought we were. And I think the question asked to me was it legal to do so? And I said, yes, it was then and it is now. You can reserve these funds for school capital projects that are not for regular ongoing maintenance. It's a separate fund. But the issue recently was when I was looking back on this, apparently this was tried in 2003 and it did not pass. But in 2008, there was a referendum put on the ballot in November. It did pass in both the county and the city. The city's resolution required the money to be used for this capital school projects for 10 years, which has already elapsed. The county resolution had no stipulation whatsoever. So the resolution was adopted and the referendum was approved just simply to increase the local portion of the county sales tax from whatever it was, to 225 to 275 was the approval of the referendum in the county. No stipulations was used for whatsoever. The county commission came in about a month later and just voted to use that extra money or earmark that extra money for school capital projects in the county, assuming that the county school board approved that the same way in their budget. I don't know whether that ever happened or not. I think it did. As most of you all have been around for a few years, you always heard Dr. Ward come in talking about referendum money. And that's what he was talking about, the money that was generated through this extra tax. But there is no requirement whatsoever that we use it for that purpose in the county, and you all have the authority to change where that tax revenue goes.
Mr. Chairman. Well, you're muted, Travis.
Sorry, go ahead, Mr. Bailey.
Mr. Harden, so if I'm reading this correct, what you're telling us then is the city's term limit has expired on it, so their 10 years is up, so you're saying it's just county money then? Am I reading that or hearing that correct of what you're telling us is they had 10 years and now that's gone?
No, sir. What I'm saying is the city had the ballot question within the city voting districts at the same time the county had it, November 2008. So it didn't have to be approved in both city and county. All I'm saying is the city resolution, the city ordinance portion of it was that they would use that extra tax generated within the city for school capital projects for 10 years. That's the promise they made to city voters. The county made no such promise in the resolution or the ballot question, so we weren't obligated to honor where that tax revenue went in the county. But in any event, it's expired in the city, so now the city can use it for anything they want to as well, just like we can.
Okay, I got one other question for you that I'd like to ask that's changing the subject just a little bit. Can the city actually nowadays with what's going on actually set and say this district can come in tuition free, but some other district cannot? How can you determine, I mean, how can you get by with that?
Yeah, I've got no idea about that. I don't know anything about the school board policies or anything, but that would be a question that we could ask of the school board. But I don't know anything about the school board, especially in the city, their policies or how they make those decisions.
I mean, do you see a problem with that? Some counties can go in certain districts and other ones cannot. I mean, that's.
Well,
I spoke with, sorry, Josh, go ahead.
I'm too ignorant to speak on it. So in that situation, I usually don't speak.
Mr. Chairman, if I can.
Yes, Mr. Frazier.
Mr. Van has sent me a copy of the school board policy that surrounds it. And the reason that though the students from the 7th, 8th, 13th, and 15th civil districts of the county shall be granted tuition-free status, for those to be enrolled in grade 9 through 12, was that the school that the Elizabethton High School at the time was that those districts' school of record. So that's where all of those civil districts, that's where their kids went to school at. So, but in my talking with him, he said, obviously I don't want to lose the money. He said, as long as it stays 100% for education, it's fine. How would folks feel if we allowed the city to do the same thing that we allow the county, that we intend on allowing the county to do, is allowing them to come with a capital projects to request money through the budget process? That way, instead of this money being set in all of their budgets to where we don't really have any idea of what they're actually doing with it, or potentially using it to offset other things, that way they have to come to us with the capital improvements project plan, and that way we have the opportunity to approve it. The money still stays for education and then would get doled out through the budget process.
I'd like, Mr. Chairman. Also.
Yes, Ms. McCamey.
So I also have a copy of the board policy 6.204.
Yeah.
And it was also in the agreeance that the county would bus the students, that the city would not be required. And the county has not followed through with that.
Neither does the city anymore, for that matter. There just weren't enough students that wanted to pick it up, from my knowledge, and that was why it was stopped. It was actually stopped back in the 80s.
Chairman Hill, if I may say something.
Yes, Ms. Collins.
I noticed that, I'm not sure who exactly said it, but they kind of said us and they referred to them. The city people are actually county people also that are actually paying taxes. Once again, I'd like to remind everybody that the city pays the exact same amount of tax as any county resident. And, you know, let's be fair here and remember that they're paying their part of the county tax just the same. Thank you.
In response to that, it would be the school boards as the county school board and the city school board, and those are two completely separate entities. So referring to them all as us would get really confusing.
Well, but they're all paying the same amount of tax was my point.
The residents are, but the board itself is not. The board is responsible for allocating the funds.
So the residents are not happy with this, unfortunately.
I'm gonna be quiet.
Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Burke.
I'd like to just address a comment that was made previously.
Okay.
Regarding suspicion of retribution. I really don't appreciate that because this idea came from me. And once the sales tax issue did come up, about the same time, monthly collections come in, I post those collections. I check the appropriation of 18% from the county and from the school boards and started looking at it closer and thought, there's something just not look right with this. So I started looking further into it, and that's where that came from. No retribution, no backlash. I wasn't carrying around in my pocket for 2 or 3 years waiting to use it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Director Burke. Anyone else?
Mr. Chair, Daniel McInturf.
Yes, Mr. McInturf.
If this does pass, does this money stay within Carter County Schools, or is it going to be lined out as a capital project for the whole county?
Daniel, I'll address that, Chair, if you don't care.
Go ahead. Chairman James.
The next part of the motion after we pass through with this is we're going to fund that line item in the capital projects school.
So it does stay within Carter County Schools, correct?
Yes, it will stay. They will submit us essentially we talked to Dr. McAbee about, and he was fine with when we was in the middle of the meeting, is they're going to kind of get us capital outlay plan, and it can fluctuate year to year if they're needing some more or less, just depending on what their requirements are.
Thank you.
Basically, Mr. Chairman, then what they were saying is it's a small savings account. If they've got a building going on, that's what it can be used for. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, that line item that the 177 is for capital outlay, so.
As it stands, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, but as it stands, the funding goes into their budget and they can spend it however they so choose. So they don't have to reserve it for rainy days or anything like that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. McCamey.
I do just want to point out that this is 95,000 plus that we're taking from the budget of the city school system.
Anyone else like to weigh in on this? Hearing none, this is to rescind the previous, I guess, motion that was on the floor from back in 2008. So Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell,
Yes.
Mark Blevins,
Yes.
Robert Acuff,
No.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Oh.
Mike Hill, I'm sorry,
No.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Jerry Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
No.
Layla Ward,
No.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yes.
Travis Hill,
No.
Sandra Culler, Daniel McInturf,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
No.
Kelly Collins,
No.
Thomas Prophet,
No.
believe the motion failed, 15-8, I believe.
That's it.
Motion failed.
Yeah, it was 15-8.
All right, we'll move forward. Next is put into a form of a motion to appropriate 55,000 from the restricted for capital projects account for visual survey and evaluation of buildings 1 and 2 at the Workforce Development Center by Shaw and Shanks Architectural Firm.
Motion by Mr. James,
Second motion, Johnson, third district.
second by Mr. Johnson. Discussion.
Hey, Chairman,
Yes, sir.
sorry to jump in late here, but I think we need to do something on that last motion. I know the motion was to rescind and that failed, but the way that I understood the motion, the way I think Mr. Burke understood the motion, was that it was for solely county schools, that there was to be no split with the city schools. If that's what you want to happen, I don't think failing to rescind that prior motion accomplishes that. The way I understood the 2008 motion that passed in the commission was that it would be reserved only for county schools, and that's not what's been done since then. So even though it contradicts what the motion said, if your goal is to keep splitting that part with the city, then you need to make that clear here now.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I want to ask Mr. Harden for clarification. So that means that basically regardless of what we vote on here today, it should be stopped?
No, what I'm saying is I think in 2008, the best that I can tell, and I think Mr. Burke feels the same way from reading the motion in the minutes, the intent of the county commission was to capture the extra sales tax generated in the county and keep it solely with Carter County Schools, not split that with the city. For whatever reason, and I have no idea why, that never happened. And so I believe what Mr. Burke has found is that we were splitting that money with the city the entire time. I think this commission here and now, to clear up the confusion, needs to decide what that allocation is. And if it's to continue splitting it 50-50, then vote that way.
Well, Attorney Harden, I will rescind pull out my motion and make a new motion, and we'll bring forth the other motion that would have come out of, that would have been the one that passed out of budget, which is that the 18% of the lost sales tax be moved to the 177 line item.
Look at that motion, Mark Blevins first.
We already got a motion on the floor. We'll have to come back to that motion after we clear this one up. Is that fine, Attorney Harden?
I rescinded my motion. I pulled the other motion off the floor.
Okay.
You moved on to the next topic. I was trying to get on to stop you, but I understand if you need to do that one first. But I just wouldn't want to leave it this murky.
Right. Austin, can we just finish this one and move back to that one?
Well, let's back up and catch this and be done. So let's finish this and put this to pasture and move on to the next one. So
okay.
So the motion is to move the 18% of the local, the LOST, to the 177 beginning July the 1st, 2021.
Second that motion, Mark Blevins.
Mark Blevins with the second. Okay. Discussion.
Yes.
Go ahead, Ms. McCamey.
Mr. Chairman. So are we back to saying, we're just twisting this around, we're back to saying we're going to take that 18% and that's where we're at, just to clarify.
Well,
we're moving it to a different place.
Ms. McCamey, he says we need to clarify as to where it needs to go. So that was the rest of the motion to come out of the budget. So that's what we're pushing forward with that one. If they wish to vote it down, then we can take forth another motion. But if he's saying we need to clarify this, then we need to finish up that one.
Okay, but to clarify,
yes,
for my sake,
177 for the schools. For the Carter County school system, yes.
County schools. So we're taking it from the city schools. I
Yes.
just want to clarify so
Yes,
that everybody
we're moving-
knows.
But instead of completely rescinding the resolution, we're moving it to another line item.
Josh, will that be a simple majority or is that still a 2/3 majority?
It'd be a
I'm
simple.
sorry, I think I got confused myself there. All I was getting at was clearly designating that what you've already just intended to vote on, although it was kind of squirrely and backwards because the original thing was squirrely and backwards. So I think you've essentially already voted that you want to split the money with the city. I think you just need to make a clear statement to that purpose, and that's fine. If the same people vote the way that you just did, then you've got the majority is all that's required.
Right.
I would like to pop up there. I disagree with that, Mr. Our Attorney Harden, because we are voting to move it to another line item. The previous motion was to rescind the previous resolution, and you say the resolution was to simply state that it was what you and Director Burke can both come to the conclusion that it was to go to the county schools. So the other part of the motion that came out of the budget was to move it to the line item 177. So that's what it's put forth is to move it. So since we're just moving it, that would be a majority vote because we're not rescinding a resolution, correct?
Yeah, that's what I said. If I didn't say it that way, I'm sorry. Yeah, it would just be a majority vote. But what I'm getting at is you're just. It sounds like the motion now is just another vote on the same thing you just voted on. Instead of saying we're not going to give it to him, you're saying we're moving it to a separate line item within our budget.
Well, we're not rescinding a resolution though, and the resolution was to set aside the 18%, which you say and Director Burke says was supposed to be earmarked for the Carter County schools the best way that you can understand it. So Director Burke's saying that we need to move this to the line item 177 instead of the current way that we're funding it. So now the motion is to move the 18% to the 177 line item.
Move it to the 170, sorry.
If the motion is just the way that it's moved through our budget, then yes, I agree with you. But if moving it to that line item is going to stop the split that's happening now, then I think we're just splitting hairs over the same thing we just voted on.
But Josh, the interpretation for the original one is that it was supposed to be earmarked strictly for the county, not for the county and the city.
Correct. Yeah, and I can't explain to you why it hasn't been done that way for since 2008. But that's certainly the way that I take the motion, and I don't know what happened after that.
Well, Director, not to cut you short there, but I'd seen Director Burke had popped in there on the chat thing, or Isaiah said he was wanting to speak. So.
I'd like to offer a little clarification on the motion. If I understand it correctly, what was passed and approved in the budget committee was to pull that 18% local option sales tax, that be retained by the county to credit to the general fund or another fund, and be replaced with a different non-shareable local tax revenue. Be credited to the Fund 177 maintained by the school department for education capital project purposes only.
For this county schools. I'm just asking for clarification.
Well, Director, if we do it like the motion says, will that fix what you say we was trying to get out of budget?
I mean, even if it stays the same or you choose another revenue, if the county chooses to share a portion of that revenue with the cities, it'd be the same end result.
Mm-hmm. But if we move the 18% to the line item 177, we're not doing away with the resolution that earmarks the 18%. We're just directing as to what line item it's funded into, correct?
The situation is complicated by the fact that the first 50% of all sales tax collections has to be distributed between the county and city school systems according to the ADA. And of course, the remaining 50% goes to the county and to the cities to use as the governing board see fit. And those do not have to be split on the ADA. However, they have been, for whatever reason, since this referendum was passed in 2008.
There had to be a reason. The county didn't just hand over 18%. That's a specific percentage. So, there's a couple of commissioners that have been on here since it passed. Can anybody lighten us on why there was an 18% handover?
That's the increase was a half a cent, which is 18% of the new sales tax rate of 2.75. So it's just taking that increase.
Mr. Burt, maybe I can help or ask you to help. Do you know the answer to this question? So obviously we are only talking about the county commission can only control the portion of the sales tax generated in the county. I understand the first 50% split city county, and then the other 50% is what we're talking about retaining, I assume, the portion of the increase in that 50%. Has the city been splitting their additional tax portion with the county, or did they keep the whole thing?
No, we have not.
Oh.
Well, why should we split with them?
Amen.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at, Attorney Harden, is since the resolution was passed to earmark 18%, and it was not designated essentially as to what line item it's to go to, and we move it to the line item 177, we are able to do that, correct?
Yeah, you all can certainly move the funds to a line item. You can decide how it's allocated. And maybe I should have just kept my mouth shut earlier. I was just trying to clear up. I think everybody who voted was thinking that the vote was changing, splitting it 50-50. That's what everybody was talking about when they voted. But really, the motion that was approved in 2008 was to keep it entirely in the county. So rescinding that motion was really the wrong approach to start with based on what everybody was understanding they were voting on.
Okay, so to clarify the motion is to move the 18% of the 50% sales tax out of the county to the line item 177. And I think, Mr. Blevins, did you second that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So that's a fund, a separate fund instead of a line item.
I'm sorry, to the separate fund 177.
But all that'll be for the Carter County Schools and none to Elizabethton City, right?
Correct.
I just want to remind everybody that we do pay city and county taxes.
But you also have a choice of whether you want to live in the city or the county. It's not a mandatory thing.
That's exactly. And the county actually is in big trouble, and the city ain't parting with us, so why should we with the city?
Chairman Hill.
If I could
Yes,
say,
Ms.
Mr.
Collins.
Chairman,
I'd like to say that people that were the city money, the county did not pay any on that because that was just city residents. So why would they split that?
It's
That
a
just
sales
came
tax.
directly from the city.
Well, I mean, just.
And the county, the city is paying part of that when they pay their county taxes. So that doesn't make sense to ask the city to split the money because the county didn't pay any on it.
It's a
Whereas
sales
vice
tax
versa,
revenue.
they did. The county did pay, the city paid together when they paid the county tax.
Everybody, hold on. Let her finish.
So that doesn't make sense to ask them to pay on county when no county residents paid on those city taxes.
Well, this is county tax, sales
Well,
tax here,
the city pays on county taxes also.
not sales tax duty.
Mr. Chairman, Brad Johnson,
Yes, sir, Mr. Johnson.
call for the motion. We wore it out.
Okay. So we're going to take a motion to end discussion. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
In discussion.
Hang on a minute.
You have a second on that, Chairman
Oh.
Hill?
Sorry, I do not have a second yet.
I'll second it.
All right, second by Mr. Frazier. Sorry, got ahead of myself.
Okay, Willie Campbell,
Yes.
Mark Blevins,
Yes.
Robert Acuff,
No.
Talk about it.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon.
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff. Jerry Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff, Ross Garland,
No.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Ginger Holdren,
No.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yes.
Travis Hill,
No.
Sandra Culler, Daniel McIntyre,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
No.
Kelly Collins,
No.
Thomas Prophet,
No.
I think Isaiah's back.
Isaiah,
No.
same thing, 15-8.
Discussion continues.
Chairman, if I could, I want to make sure everybody understands that we're talking about sales tax. This isn't real property tax that you pay for owning land. This is sales tax paid on goods or services bought. So obviously, most everybody in the county buys their things in the city. So there's a vast majority more of this generated, paid by county residents within the city that the city doesn't share. That's the only point I'm trying to make. I don't have a vote. I just want everybody to understand that.
Mr. Chair, point of order.
All right. We're-
Mr. Chair, point of order.
Yes, I was going back and getting the motion. So the motion on the floor is 18% of the loss to 177 starting July 1st and all that to go to Carter County Schools. Is that the correct motion, Mr. James?
18, yes, the 18% that we're currently using or spending.
Okay. We'll call for the vote then. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell,
Yes.
Mark Blevins,
Yes.
Robert Acuff,
No.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
No.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Jerry Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
No.
Layla Ward,
No.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yes.
Travis Hill,
No.
Sandra Culler, Daniel McIntyre,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
No.
Kelly Collins,
No.
Thomas Prophet,
No.
15-8.
Motion passed.
Right, we will move forward with the next motion, and the next motion is to appropriate, I believe this has come out a little weird, 55,000 from the restricted capital projects accounts to the architect line item.
Second, Aaron Frazier.
Second by Aaron Frazier. Motion by Mr. James. Any discussion?
What's the reasoning for moving this again?
So this is money to appropriate for the projects like the ADA for the bathrooms at the courthouse, the workforce development. Mayor, chime in here with me some of the other projects you got going. We've got to appropriate money in the architect line item to be able to pay them.
Those are two of the projects. Also, the Building and Grounds had tasked me with having this property surveyed, either for adding on going up or adding on to this building going out. That is another architect situation. And also the architects will be looking at the chamber building. They will be assessing that building also. So we needed to put money in the architect line for budgeting purposes for all these projects.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell,
Yes.
Mark Blevins,
Yes.
Robert A. Cup,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Gary Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yes.
Travis Hill,
Yes.
Sandra Culler, Daniel McIntyre,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
Yes.
Thomas Prophet,
Yes.
all ayes.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Attorney Harden, I have a question on this next motion. It come out of budget to allow the mayor to obtain quotes for an inspection of the old Chamber and Commerce building, but we're allocating the money in the architect line item. We don't need to do anything with that, do we?
You're allocating money into the line item to
We
pay for.
allocated money in the architect line item to pay for certain things as this, but it come out of the budget to allow her to obtain quotes for the inspection at the Chamber of Commerce building. But I mean, we don't need to, I mean, she can do that on her own, don't she? I mean, we don't have to give her no authorization to obtain a quote.
No, sir, you're
I didn't
correct.
think so. All right, so next we do, next we're gonna go into the budget amendments. Everybody will flip over there. Next, I'm gonna put into a form of a motion to approve General Fund 101 Budget Amendment number 9, items 1 through 17 for a total of $84,883.56, with $46,354.04 coming from reserves and fund balance, and $3,600 coming from unassigned fund balance.
Second.
Motion by Mr. James, second by Mr. Frazier. Discussion. Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell, Mark Blevins, Robert A. Cup,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Gary Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yeah.
Travis Hill,
Yes.
Sandra Culler, Daniel McIntyre,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
Yes.
Thomas Prophet.
Yes.
23 ayes.
Motion passed. Thank you.
All right, everybody, we're going to back up just a little bit. The mayor had reminded me of some things that she had asked that didn't get to come through the committee in time. And if anybody, the committee members have an issue with this, just let me know. But I'm going to put it into a form of a motion, and then you can tell me. I put into a form of a motion to allocate $12,000 in the mayor's building and grounds line item for mowing and landscaping of the county facilities for the rest of the fiscal year.
Do we not need to suspend the rules like we did on first of the meeting?
Yes, sir, we would.
Motion to suspend the rules. Mark Levin.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Blevins, second by Mr. James to suspend the rules. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Willie Campbell,
Aye.
Mark Blevins,
Aye.
Robert Acuff,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon.
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Jerry Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yes.
Travis Hill,
Yes.
Sandra Culler, Daniel McInturf,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
No.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
Yes.
Thomas Prophet,
Yes.
22 ayes.
Motion passed. Now, Mr. James, you can put your motion on the floor.
All right, the motion is to allocate $12,000 in the building and grounds budget for mowing and landscaping.
Second, Mark Blevins, first district.
Let me give a little bit of background behind this, so everybody don't think we're just trying to skip the committees. This come in late after the budget meeting to the mayor, and they had all agreed. I believe she talked to Director Burke and stuff. Since we're just running the fiscal year, we need to go ahead and get started because usually mowing gets started in April. So she has to try to get something locked in with these people, or they're going to pick up other contracts, and we're not going to be able to have them to mow. And so she just has finally got 2 quotes back. She's had a hard time trying to get anybody to even come out and consider it. So that's kind of where we're at, why we're at with it, we are. And Mayor, if you'd like to weigh anything else in on this, please feel free.
Just let me give you guys a little bit of background what we ran into with taking on the workforce development. I know many of you know that's a massive piece of property. There's about 9 flower beds on it. They're huge. We've got the pond that has to be maintained with certain spray to keep the weeds away from it. We've got trees. There's certain trees that have to be pruned, and all of this has been being done by Ron and Roy, my maintenance guys, that have been with us a little over a year now. Now with all the tasks of keeping up with the buildings and all these projects that we're currently doing, they can no longer mow that. It took them, I think there's 10 to 12 acres that they kept mowed. And it's taken them 2 days to mow that. So I cannot task them with that job. And so I spoke with Captain Smith about trustees, as they normally have kept our other courthouse properties up. And I've told, once again, I'll say, as the sheriff says, and the sheriff's department says, we should not depend on them as employees, and trustees are really hard to come by right now. And plus the staffing issues that the sheriff's department has, they don't have the staff to bring the trustees out to do the mowing. So right now we're in a little bit of a crunch, and I don't want to be worrying about when to get trustees and when the properties are going to get mowed and maintained. So until we can figure out what we want to do for the new fiscal year, I was just want to ask the commission to allocate this money just for the next 3 months, and I'll have a company come in and take care of all the properties.
Thank you for the clarification.
Chairman James, where's the money coming from? What was it, undesignated?
It would just have to come, I guess, out of the unassigned fund balance. Brad, is there another line item we could take that out of that's kind of restricted for something like that?
There is funds available in the workforce development category to fully fund that for the rest of this year, because we charge all the maintenance and repair work that the maintenance men do for the county, solid waste, highway, whatever, is charged to those departments instead of to the workforce development. There are plenty of funds left for that purpose in the WDC category.
Chairman James, would you stipulate your motion to indicate that, please?
Yes, my motion would be to put the $12,000 in the mayor's building and grounds budget, with it coming from the excess at the workforce development.
Second it again.
Any more discussion?
Yeah, and you say for the fiscal year, just for a few more months, right? That's what
3
you're saying?
months.
Yeah, okay.
Just the end of this fiscal year, and then we'll reassess it through the budget process on what we need to do for the next fiscal year. I'll bring that through budget.
Yeah, and that's just at the workforce development where we're.
Now, that's all of the courthouse, all the properties that we currently own. That'll be the workforce development, our courthouse, our monument, the elections, health department, planning. That's every property that we maintain, just because we cannot depend on the trustees to do anything. And I'm already getting calls for landscaping at elections, and they're needing stuff done, and they're asking me to get trustees, and I just can't depend on the trustees. They're not dependable right now. We don't have any. So that's what I'm asking to do just for the next 3 months until we regroup and figure out what we need to do.
Yeah.
Mayor, shouldn't we bid this out?
No, not because the quote, Brad said we could do quotes under 25,000. The bid has to be over 25,000. So
That's correct.
We'll be bidding out the service out for next year.
if we want to do the service for the next fiscal year, I've already got the bid prepared for that. That's ready to go. But we thought it'd be best to just do the next 3 months and start in this fiscal year with this service, and then start the next fiscal year. If the commission wishes to continue those services, we will bid that out.
Mayor Woodme, Daniel McIntyre. Does that include materials?
Yes.
It's a steal.
It includes all the landscaping. It includes mulching. I think they'll do the mulching for us, and then they'll keep the sidewalks, leaves cleared, weeds sprayed out of the sidewalks. They will maintain the workforce development complex. I do plan on eliminating some of the flower beds up there just to save us on cost, and that's why it's a little low on the quote, because we are going to eliminate some of the flower beds and sow grass.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Von Cannon.
Is the workforce grounds mowed with finished mower, or are they mowed with a larger?
We have 2 industrial mowers that they use there, and they've got several hours on them, but they're in very good condition. Ron and Roy have maintained them, and so they're very good condition and they work very well.
So what's going to happen to the mowing equipment? If we're going out of the mowing business, the school system's gone out of the mowing business. They're beating everything out. It seems like we're not utilizing the prisoners. Of course, you can't depend on them.
Mr. Chair.
I think we're missing the little things are the things that add up in a budget. And this is one that I think we need to utilize these prisoners.
We don't have any to utilize. Like, we can't get any.
Well, I understand, because we've had the same problem with the recycling center and whatever. You can't depend on them.
Mr. Grindstaff?
You can depend on them, but you can't depend on getting them.
I would like to add, the mayor has been in conversation with me. I fully support this from a building and ground standpoint as a chair. One thing that we discussed is, this is to get us through, get us started, have conversations in building and grounds and see what we need to take through the budget if there's any change there. This is something that you have to remember. We've had that workforce development complex for just going on about a year now. And this is just something that with the change in mayors, COVID, things that have happened that just kind of got missed. But it has come up on several occasions, come out of building and grounds on several different occasions, even before I was selected as chair this go around, that, we need to maintain our landscaping a little bit better. There's been some issues there. And, I think that this is a good start to get us going in the right direction and allow us to make decisions going into next fiscal year that, we're all concerned about the budget as it is, and just kind of see which direction we need to go.
And this will definitely, with this company, will get us up to par with the landscaping and everything that needs to be done for the next 3 months. And then maybe we could reassess, I don't know, well, I'll bring it through budget, maybe hiring just a full-time person in with Ron and Roy, as I've tried to before. But either way we go, we could either hire another full-time maintenance guy and a part-time seasonal person with Ron and Roy, or we can bid it out and pay the yearly amount. But like I know Isaiah and I spoke with today, we would like to see the money maybe going towards an employee that's actually going to be employed by the county that can, and I was speaking with Ron and Roy today. Ron did tell me that if he had a full-time person and a part-time seasonal, they could maintain the mowing and the landscaping once it was brought up, especially if the landscaping is brought up to standard, they would be able to maintain it. That's just kind of where we're at.
Any more discussion?
Mayor Wilby, one more thing.
Yeah.
Do these individuals have the proper certification to spray around water and?
Yes, they have a license and they're insured. Both companies are that I've done quotes with. And he did tell me there was a certain certification that they had to have on them in case the TDEC pulled up and asked them for it. They had to have it on them to be able to spray around water.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell,
Yes.
Mark Levin,
Yes.
Robert A. Cup,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Jerry Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yes.
Travis Hill,
Yes.
Sandra Culler, Daniel McIntyre,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
Yes.
Thomas Prophet,
Yes.
all ayes.
Motion passed. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Now, are we still under rule suspension, or do we have to do that for every?
We have to do it for each individual item, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got another, I've put in form another motion to suspend the rules. Director Cobalt, called me literally 15 minutes before the meeting and said he had an issue with one of his line items. So we'll get a second on that. We'll discuss it.
Second, Mark Levin's first district.
Motion by Mr. James, second by Mr. Blevins to suspend the rules. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell,
Yes.
Mark Blevins,
Yes.
Robert A. Cup,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Jerry Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yeah.
Travis Hill,
Yes.
Sandra Culler, Daniel McIntyre,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
No.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
Yes.
Thomas Prophet,
Yes.
22 ayes.
Motion passed.
All right. Next, I'll put into a form of a motion. Let me get my email pulled up here. To move $3,000 from the line item 63100-336 from maintenance and repairs to 63100-433 lubricants.
A motion by Mr. James,
Second, Gary Bailey.
second by Mr. Bailey. Discussion.
let me explain a little bit of this. Roger had called me just a few minutes before the meeting and told me that he had run into an issue. His oil and hydraulic, which is the lubricant line item, was running. He had got down, I think it was either $300 or $600 in it. He said it just wasn't enough to get him. It wouldn't get him through the month. Mr. Campbell might be able to elaborate on that more. I don't even know what they spend or what they use, but he just asked if this was something that we could take through. And I said, as long as the committee don't have an issue, I'll put it on the floor and ask him when we get it there. So.
Question, Chairman.
Yes, sir.
You said through the month. Is this something that he's going to need through the the fiscal year?
Yeah, I guess that moves it over for the fiscal year. I'm not sure. Director Burke, you might be able to answer how much they spend out of that line item. I don't have a clue.
Minute.
Are you there, Director?
Yes, it'll take me just a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
What was that amount again, Austin?
$3,000, and he might be moving enough to get him through the year. I'm not sure, but I'm supposing that it may be enough just to get him through until maybe budget next month or something. Because I think there was $300 or $600 in there, so they must spend quite a bit out of it at one time.
Austin, this is Roger.
Oh, Roger's on here now. So
I've been saying, I'm sorry about this. What it just brought to my attention about 4:30 this afternoon that my shop foreman come to me and we buy oil and hydraulic fluid in 55-gallon drums, and it does us quite a while. But that $3,000 should do us for the rest of the fiscal year. And I'm sorry about this because I didn't know it to this afternoon, or if I noted earlier, I'd have brought it through the budget committee, of course.
Any other questions?
Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell,
Yes.
Mark Blevins,
Nature, I think.
Robert A. Cuff,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill.
No.
What did he say?
He said
No. No? Okay.
Oh.
Julie Gwynn. Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Jerry Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yeah.
Travis Hill,
Yes.
Sonja Culler, Daniel McIntyre,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
Yes.
Thomas Prophet.
Yes.
22 ayes.
Motion passed. Thank you.
All right, now let's move back to our budget amendments. All right, next I put into a form of a motion to approve General Fund 101 Budget Amendment number 9A for a total of $359 with nothing coming from fund balance.
Second.
Motion by Mr. James, second by Mr. Bailey. Any discussion?
Mr. James, on the motion that I see, it says it's supposed to be coming from unassigned fund balance.
The sheet I have in front of me says from fund balance. Director, do you care to elaborate on that a little bit? Or we got confused out on this?
Hang on a second.
You're fine.
What's it again for, Austin, exactly?
Travis, do you have your packet in front of you, or you can flip it, because I got to sign off this email and go to another one.
It says to appropriate unassigned fund balance for internet services to general session judge's office.
There it is.
The only one I have, it says from unassigned fund balance.
All right, well, I changed that to unassigned fund balance.
Yeah, I'll second.
I think Mr. Bailey already seconded it, Ross.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell. Mark Blevins. Robert Acuff.
Yes.
Nancy Brown.
Yes.
Mike Hill.
Yes.
Julie Gwynn.
Yes.
Bradley Johnson.
Yes.
Mark Tester.
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon.
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff.
Yes.
Jerry Prophet.
Yes.
Austin James.
Yes.
Ross Garland.
Yes.
Layla Ward.
Yes.
Ginger Holdren.
Yes.
Randall Jenkins.
Yes.
Gary Bailey.
Yes.
Travis Hill.
Yes.
Sandra Color. Daniel McIntyre.
Yes.
Aaron Frazier.
Yes.
Robin McCamey.
Yes.
Kelly Collins.
Yes.
Thomas Prophet.
Yes.
All ayes.
Motion passed. Thank you.
All right, next I put into a form of a motion to approve Highway Public Works Fund number 131, budget amendment number 3 for a total of $4,000 with nothing coming from fund balance.
Second it, Mark Blevins, first day.
Motion by Mr. James, second by Mr. Blevins. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell. Mark Blevins. Robert Acuff.
Yes.
Nancy Brown.
Yes.
Mike Hill.
Yes.
Julie Gwynn.
Yes.
Bradley Johnson.
Yes.
Mark Tester.
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon.
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff.
Yes.
Jerry Prophet.
Yes.
Austin James.
Yes.
Ross Garland.
Yes.
Layla Ward. Ginger Holdren.
Yes.
Randall Jenkins.
Yes.
Gary Bailey.
Yes.
Travis Hill.
Yes.
Sandra Color. Daniel McIntyre.
Yes.
Aaron Frazier.
Yes.
Robin McCamey.
Yes.
Kelly Collins.
Yes.
Thomas Prophet. All ayes.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Next I put into a form of a motion to approve General Purpose School Fund number 141, amendment number 8 for a total of $282,165.26 with a net of 10.5 coming from this fund's unassigned fund balance.
Second.
Motion by Mr. James, second by Mr. Frazier. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell.
Yes.
Mark Blevins.
Yes.
Robert Acuff.
Yes.
Nancy Brown.
Yes.
Mike Hill.
Yes.
Julie Gwynn.
Yes.
Bradley Johnson.
Yes.
Mark Tester.
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon.
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff.
Yes.
Jerry Prophet.
Yes.
Austin James.
Yes.
Ross Garland.
Yes.
Layla Ward.
Yes.
Ginger Holdren.
Yes.
Randall Jenkins.
Yes.
Gary Bailey.
Yes.
Travis Hill.
Yes.
Sandra Color. Daniel McIntyre.
Yes.
Aaron Frazier.
Yes.
Robin McCamey.
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Kelly Collins.
Yes.
Thomas Prophet.
Yes.
All ayes.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Next, I put into a form of a motion to approve the following monetary donations to the animal shelter in the amount of $1,350.
Second, Aaron Frazier.
Motion by Mr. James, second by Mr. Frazier. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell,
Aye.
Martin Blevins,
Aye.
Robert Acuff,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Jerry Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yeah.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yeah.
Travis Hill,
Yes.
Sonja Culler, Daniel McIntyre,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
Yes.
Thomas Prophet.
Yes.
All ayes.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Last, I put into a form of a motion to approve the non-monetary donations from Walmart made to the animal shelter for approximate value of $711.90.
Second, Gary Bailey, sixth.
Motion by Mr. James, second by Mr. Bailey. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell,
Yes.
Mark Blevins,
Yes.
Robert Acuff,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Jerry Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yeah.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yes.
Travis Hill,
Yes.
Sonja Culler, Daniel McIntyre,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
Yes.
Thomas Prophet.
Yes.
All ayes.
Motion passed. Thank you.
That concludes budget. Nobody else has anything else.
Chairman James, I thought there were 3 items from the animal shelter regarding transfer of some dollars for the animal care officer's vehicle and also $1,200 being transferred to a medical line item.
Travis, you're on budget with me and Aaron. I don't remember anything for the animal shelter. Do you guys?
Yeah, I thought there was something under the general fund, I thought, but I could have been dreaming.
Well, it wasn't in my cheat sheet here. Let me go back and
There was
look.
on number 8 on your thing, there was $1,100, $500 for maintenance and repair vehicles and $600 for gasoline.
Yes.
And then $1,200 for drug and medical supplies for the animal shelter.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
It was rolled in, Dr. Acuff.
Thank you.
I was getting ready to say I don't see it separate here, but that's the reason why, sir.
Anything else for Chairman James? Okay, thank you, Chairman James. We'll move on to nominating with Chairman Frazier.
Only have one point of business this evening. It is to, we received a nomination for Nick Holder for the IDB, the Industrial Development Board. And I would like to put into a form of motion that we accept Mr. Holder by acclamation.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Frazier, second by Mr. James. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell,
Yes.
Mark Blevins,
Yes.
Robert Acuff,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Yes.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Jerry Prophet,
Yes.
Austin James,
Yes.
Ross Garland,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yeah.
Travis Hill,
Yes.
Sonja Culler, Daniel McIntyre,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
Yes.
Thomas Prophet.
Yes.
All ayes.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Only other thing I have is we're still seeking someone to fill the equalization board, and it must be filled at the next nominating committee. If you know of anyone, please let them know. Attorney Harden, I was asked a question. I wasn't 100% sure the answer of it. There are 2 more positions that are coming up that must be reappointed. Do we need to advertise those in advance, or can we just accept by reappointment on those?
Aaron, we've already begun advertisement, so it'll encompass all 3 positions.
Perfect. Thank you, Ms. Webby.
Chairman Frazier, do we know what other district that they're looking for the equalization board?
Equalization, I don't believe involves a particular district. It just has to be a county resident, and it cannot be a county employee.
Okay, I thought typically Ronnie looks for certain areas that he needs somebody in.
And Mr. Frazier, Chairman Frazier, I was going to add, I don't know if it's certain areas or not, but Mr. Taylor had mentioned to me that the one we have open now is first district. So I don't know. We may need to confirm with and make sure that it ain't by district. I'm not sure.
Let me double check the list. Hang on.
It is by district, and it is the first district that's open.
Okay.
Because I think the 6th district is up for one.
Yeah.
And the 3rd.
Yeah.
Okay.
And both of those individuals came by today to fill out an application for reappointment.
Then that is all I have, sir.
All right, thank you, Chairman Frazier. We'll move on to landfill with Chairman Bailey.
We didn't meet, but just to let everybody know that Benny has the pit dug. They're planning on trying to pour the concrete sometime this week. And the baler will be here today. And we have a PO to the company to put in the roof, the shed over for him to store the cardboard. That's it.
All right, thanks, Chairman Bailey. Next, we'll move on to Highway, Chairman Blevins.
Yeah, I've got one thing, Chairman. I put it in the form of a motion that we adopt the Carter County road list for 2020. Second.
Motion by Mr. Blevins, second by Mr. Campbell to adopt the Carter County road list.
2020 or 2021?
2021. Yeah. 2021, I said 2020.
Okay.
2020.
Yeah.
2021 road list. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Willie Campbell, Mark Blevins, Robert Acuff,
Yes.
Nancy Brown,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Yes.
Julie Gwynn,
Yes.
Bradley Johnson,
Yes.
Mark Tester,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
I passed because I found the error in it.
Isaiah Grindstaff,
Yes.
Jerry Prophet,
Yes. It's road number.
Austin James,
Yes.
But today.
Ross Garland,
Yes.
Layla Ward,
Yes.
Ginger Holdren,
It used to be
Yes.
called.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Gary Bailey,
Yes.
Travis Hill,
Yes.
Sandra
It's not on-
Culler,
it's not on
Daniel
the list.
McIntyre,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Robin McCamey,
Yes.
Kelly Collins,
Yes.
Thomas Prophet. Thomas Prophet,
Yes.
22 ayes.
Yes.
Motion passed. Thank you. Chairman Blevins, you have anything else for Highway?
No, that'd be all. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to Health and Welfare with Dr. Acuff.
Thank you, Chairman. We'll let the minutes speak for the deliberations of the committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Financial Management with Chairwoman Holdren.
Let the minutes reflect, please, sir.
Very good. Thank you. Education Committee with Chairwoman Ward.
We did not meet.
Okay, thank you. Building and Grounds, Chairman Grindstaff.
We'll let the minutes reflect unless the mayor has something to add.
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Rules and Bylaws, Chairman Jenkins.
Same, let the minutes reflect. Same
Okay.
with Parks and Rec, please.
All right. Law Enforcement and Beer Board, Chairman Hill.
No permit applications at this time, and the Law Enforcement Committee had only the one item. So the minutes will stand.
Thank you very much. Planning, Director Schutler.
I have a couple of questions for Mr. Schuler.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we have a Carter County Planning Commission meeting on the 23rd. I think Mr. Von Cannon said he had a question.
Go ahead, Mr. Von Cannon.
The communications complex in Central Community.
Yes.
Is this units added to the existing tower or is this a new tower?
This is actually a satellite communication system that's going in, Mr. Von Cannon. If you know where Happy Valley Road intersects with the Rio Vista Hill.
Sure.
There's a car impound lot there. That impound lot will be going away, and that's where the communication system will be, sir.
Is it going to be a monopole tower or is it just a box?
It's actually a satellite dish system, sir.
So it has to be a tower.
No, it's a dish system. It's not a tower per se.
Okay, this is not attached to the other tower that's down farther toward Johnson City.
Oh, no, sir. No, sir.
Oh,
It's
all
a
right.
totally different situation.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Any more questions for Director Schuler? Hearing none, thank you, Director Schuler, for your report.
Thank you, sir.
Does anybody want to speak on animal shelter? Dr. Acuff or Ms. Collins?
We can let the minutes reflect the deliberations. I will tell you that I think everyone knows we have our dog catcher on staff, and he is already out in the community and working with both the sheriff's office when they request, and also the city police officers if they so request. Would remind everybody to remind your constituents to follow the rules and procedures that have been set forward, that 911 should be contacted. Don't call the shelter. They do not dispatch the dog catcher. That's at the request of both the county and the city law enforcement operations. So just wanted to make everybody aware of that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'm pretty sure he catches goats too, but I'm pretty sure I seen him Friday afternoon with a herd of goats in somebody's yard.
That's right. But we did, Darren did get a goat. And Mike Simmerly, Councilman Simmerly, reminded him he needed to go back to school to learn the difference between a dog and a goat.
All right.
Chairman
Thank you.
Hill,
Yes, Mr. James.
just a question for Dr. Acuff.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Acuff, is there any way that we can maybe when we're doing our report during the animal shelter, get an update as to kind of how many calls or reports the dog catchers went on, so we can kind of monitor if there's any further assistance needed, we kind of get a better understanding on a monthly basis?
Sure. I'm sure Director Posada going forward will report not only as we have the census of the animals month by month, but also who was dispatched where by 911 records, I think. But certainly we can probably make that available as part of the minutes.
Thanks, sir.
Chairman Hill,
Yes.
this is Julie Gwynn in District 2. I just had a question for Dr. Acuff about this, if it's okay.
Yes.
So I know that Director Posada took one of her existing employees and made them the dog catcher. Is she going to hire another full-time employee? How is she going to do that?
We do have another half-time employee that comes with us from another county who's, I think, lives in Sullivan, if I'm not mistaken. He's had animal care officer experience in another county. He has also had experience in euthanasia, and if I'm not mistaken, he is licensed through the DEA to do so. And I know that we've discussed that a little bit at the shelter board meeting this past time, but I'm sure we'll have a little further disclosure on that going forward.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, let's move on to agriculture with Chairman Tester.
Yes,
we had a meeting on March 9th, and Dr. Acuff was gracious enough to nominate me for chairman, and I appreciate that. Just a couple things right quick. Miss Vicky covered the reopening phase of the extension office. She said the office is open every day with limited staff, and they are following the guidelines. And Dr. Acuff might want to comment on this. He was in on the hiring of a new 4-H program assistant. I believe that was Miss Melissa Shelton. And there's several other things. They got a Boyd Foundation grant in which they purchased portable livestock scales to be able to go out on the farm and weigh people's livestock, whatever it may be. They've been very active in some beef master programs in the county, kits for the 4-H programs on nutrition, and they're on 4-H is on a program to raising calves and raising the chicken programs. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Tester. We'll go back to nominating with Chairman Frazier, and he can go ahead and do Main Street Industrial Development while he's on there.
Yeah, just one other thing. There's also going to be 2 positions coming up for planning. Those will be coming up in April as well. I'll get with the mayor and get the details out for the postings for those. Main Street meets this Thursday, and the JECDP hasn't met since the last meeting, so I think our next one is in April.
Okay, thank you. And finally, a report from City Council. So I don't know if Dr. Acuff or Mr. Tester want to touch on that.
Right. I attended that, and as many of you know, their agenda and with all its attachments, quite lengthy. I think this one was 342 some odd pages. So what I thought I would do is distill it down, and those things that are relevant to us, let you know. I mean, I'm happy to send to everyone the agenda plus all the attachments if you'd like to see them. So, but I thought I would just do a short summary and send out by the end of the week.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Is he personally going to make the copies for us?
Right. I'll do that, Brad, and I'll throw it through your front window.
That's right. I got view sight for the next 375 yards. That's fine. Throw all you want.
All right. I don't think I missed any committee, so I think we'll move on to county attorney report. Oh, sorry.
Well, I had Chamber of Commerce and Keep Carter County Beautiful real quick if you got time for it.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. I'll write them on my list.
And once again, want to thank the commission and Mayor Woodby for the proclamation for Ed. He really does a good job. A couple people I forgot to mention really, and Captain Smith, Sheriff's Department. I mean, they've been, crucial in this whole thing, even before this got started with Keep Carter County Beautiful, of going out there and picking up. So we can't forget them. And I know several commissioners have been part of these cleanups and other activities going on. I didn't mention them. So just wanted to include everybody on that, and certainly the full support of the commission. And Ed mentioned that stuff before. Milligan Highway cleanup this Saturday. Tweetsy Trail tree planting is March 27th, so the following Saturday, and that Earth Day cleanup. That's a pretty big deal. I think may actually have the Keep Tennessee Beautiful, some of those people up there to be part of that. So if anybody wants to come out, I mean, it's a good time. I'm sure that hopefully the weather be pretty good. A pretty good fun event. Chamber of Commerce, they're always busy. New event coming to town, Music and Miles. It's a half marathon, and they're talking about 600 to 700 guests, something like that. So all the runners, I know Thomas Prophet's he might be training up for that half marathon right now. But that's coming. The Omnium has been approved June 4th through 6th. 300 or 400 people you're talking coming. Adult leadership starts in April. Applications open. And the Carter County 101 for newcomers to the area starts this summer. So that must be a new program they're starting. And they're always experimenting and doing new things down there. So they got some good leadership and doing some good things. And I mean, I get an email every other day about new membership. So they're improving and doing real good down there. And they had some baseball kids come in over the weekend, some travel teams playing down there at Lions Field, and I guess also at the American League field up there, Cat Island. So I mean, a whole bunch of people coming in and spending money. So those are things we like to see and keep happening. So, and I'd also like to, if you don't mind, Chairman Hill, would like to get them on the agenda next month. Luke would like to come and Joy introduce herself and talk to us just a little bit. So Travis, don't let me forget that. Okay.
Yeah, just shoot me an email if you don't care. So I'll
I
put
will
it on the agenda.
All right.
All right.
That's all I got.
Mr.
Thank you.
Burrows. Thank you. All right. We'll move on to county attorney report. Attorney Harden.
Okay. Just for the general litigation update I usually give, if you all recall the McGee versus Carter County case, the right-of-way issue on Ridgecrest Drive, I think it is. We had a motion hearing on that back on February 18th, and we're still awaiting the ruling to see if that case is going to progress or not. So that should come anytime. Secondly, litter violation cases are ramping up now that courts are coming back in session in earnest. We have 10 cases set for hearing on April the 8th in Chancery Court, and another 6 cases that have been filed, and we're waiting service on those to set those cases. Some of y'all may know the delinquent tax sale. The 2018 delinquent tax sale just happened on this past Friday. I always like to give a little update on that. We ended up actually auctioning off 31 separate properties. And of course, I don't like to do that, and nobody likes to sell somebody's property, but as we all know, property tax is pretty much the main.
You're froze, Josh.
Lost him.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I think it'd be better without the picture. The sale generated $647,000 in bidding, but the only part of that the county gets to keep is $60,688.96. The rest of that was overbids that may come back to us eventually as excess funds if nobody claims them. But the bigger picture is this is a year-round process. So when the delinquent tax suit for 2018 was filed on April 1st of last year, from that time forward until the sale on Friday, the county collected $233,329.92 of taxes that had not been paid that we were owed. So the process itself is nonstop, and I'll file the next lawsuit in 2 weeks on April 1st and start all over. It's year-round nonstop, but that is how we collect property taxes that are not paid. Besides those issues, normal stuff I do each month, I'll file a written report that you all can see in the minutes next month.
Thank you, Attorney Harden. Anybody got any questions for Attorney Harden? Hearing none, we'll move on to commissioner comments. The floor is now open to any commissioner who'd like to speak.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Mr. Von Cannon.
Today about noon, I received a Gmail from announcing a webinar Thursday, March 25th, 1 to 2. And the subject is 3 or 4 speakers concerning the ways the new $5 billion in stimulus designated for homeless can be used in your community. So Dr. Acuff, here's your answer to money. One of the ladies that is a speaker raised $1 billion and funding that put 16 people permanently off the streets of several of the larger cities. Rethinking homelessness is another subject. This may be the answer to your prayers on homelessness in this county. I've left a copy with the mayor in case in case you need to get a copy. But March the 25th, 1 to 2, and I suppose that's on all of your Gmails. I don't know.
Right. Thank you, Commissioner Von Cannon. I did get notice of that as well. I think it's a great opportunity And just to catch everybody up, I know Commissioner Janes last month asked that I would give a little summary of what's going on with the homeless group task force. As I think many of you know, we're moving to a new name and a 501c3 designation. We will announce. And then on Friday, several members of the Homeless Task Force Committee met at Valley Forge Baptist to talk with pastors in the area, and we garnered $1,000, almost $1,000 contribution, which I will be contacting Director Burke and the county attorney to make sure we can put those in our designated account for homelessness until the 501c3 is established. There will be a meeting of the task force along with all nonprofits in the area to talk about what they can bring to the table for this Carter Compassion Center that we've already rolled out, and Brandon will talk about that. Brandon Young will talk about that at this nonprofits meeting as well. So hopefully that catches everybody up a little bit on where we are with the homeless task force.
Thank you. Anyone else?
One other comment. Bill Birchfield was a member of the Cattlemen's Association as was stated tonight. But the man that was long-term president of the Cattlemen's Association, Larry Crumley, passed away a few days ago. And I don't know how that is going to affect the association, except it is the largest group in the county. It by far exceeds any other club or situation in the county. And I don't raise cattle, but I've been a member of the, for about 20 years, I guess. I raise hogs, terrain swine.
Say what?
You got them.
A terrain swine, isn't that a groundhog?
Be quiet, Charles.
Motion to adjourn.
Hold on.
Second.
Hold on. I just want to give a reminder about the CEUs. Make sure you're getting your continuing education called up, please. For the ones of us who've not been on 8 years.
I just found out about that today. Thanks to Mr. Tester.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Mr. Jenkins.
Oh, motion to adjourn.
Yep.
We did that.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Everybody have a good week.
I'm going to start right now.
Frazier.
I heard